Greetings. Shall we? Griffo-san. Good man. Forced in the chat. Like a proper chat. Know what time it is? Time to gather your chi. For it is 3. Oh. Stretch the lower spine. Move the shoulders around. Yawn. Oh. The glorious light of heaven shines brightly upon us this day. I am grateful. No doubt we will lose it in about an hour. It'll be dark and gloomy again, but we shall enjoy it while it is here. I almost forgot to descend for the intro. Descension complete. Oh. Time to gather your chi and join me, for it is 3. Oh. Oh, today is a glorious day. You ask me why. Why is it glorious? I will tell you why. Today is a glorious day for PEINTEINGU. 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 Painting you. Painting me. It's PEINTEINGU. Let's fucking go. Painting you. Painting me. It's PEINTEINGU. Let's fucking go. Yeah. Gather your chi, for it is time for PEINTEINGU. Oh. Allow the music to enter your spina. Allow the blood to flow. Breath is also very important. Posture must be excellent. A sip of agua to lubricate my insides. Ascension to be better positioned for the PEINTEINGU. Oh. My spine knows it's time for PEINTEINGU. It didn't about 20 minutes ago, but it does now. Rifflebaru, welcome to PEINTEINGU. Stabaru-san, welcome to PEINTEINGU. Scousabaru, brother, welcome to PEINTEINGU. Oh, Oh, yeah. I am beginning to rouse. It's 3 p.m. here, and I'm finally awake. Don't get me wrong, I've been awake since like around 8 o'clock, but I had myself some noodles, some coffee, lots of coffee, a lot of coffee. And now I am ready to entertain, to educate, to placate, to get funky. A shamisen just moves my spina all the time. It is time for PEINTEINGU, ladies and gentlemen, niggers and niggerettes. I was about to say boys and girls, but this show is not for kids. It's too vulgar. That's why I always click that little box when I am uproading. Seriously, just swapping out the L's for R's, man. Is that uproading? I was uproading there the other day. Uproading? What do you... It's like... It's when you find roads that go uphill and you cycle them. I was uproading. Have you any idea how hard it is to cycle uphill? Cycling uphill can be a hunt. Really good, Philo. Great workout.
Are you sick of having issues with your
I'm sick of you, Dana. We've been through this dozens of times, Dana. I'm sick of you. Get the fuck off my stream, you four-eyed cunt. Oh, now he's shaming people who wear glasses. Yes, I am. You weak faggots. Your eyes are gay. Those eyes are filled with gayness. My bandana always finds itself askew after the intro. Need to find you a wealthy benefactor. Get on it. Please get on it. Make sure he's a Jew. Paint. Paint. Right. We return to where the fuck are we? Libya. Paint. Fairies. We're painting fairies. Plus harpies. Fairies plus harpies equals what? Farpies. That's what you get when a harpy fucks a fairy. You get farpies. And here are 3 of them being murdered by Mario and Luigi knockoffs. Paint. I'm thinking, will I put, like, instead of M and L, will I put L and M just to be like, no, it's Lario with Luigi. I think it's hilarious that, like, over half the streams that I've put on YouTube, like, have that copyright block thing on them. But it's like, I suppose it makes sense because I use, like, other people's playlisted music or whatever. But, like, those songs are also from other people, and those people just put them on a playlist. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, I've always thought, like, if people, like, had a problem with me playing their music or some shit, like, do you know what I mean? Like, say something. Do you know what I mean? But, like, the nature of music is you want people to listen to it. So, like, imagine, speaking of, like, rich benefactors, it'd be so funny if, like, PEINTEINGU was sponsored by fucking, I don't know, name a decent music artist or band these days that isn't, like, fucking a bunch of corporate sellouts or, like, woke gobshites. I don't know. I mean, I can still name songs that I like, I suppose, but, like, you don't know these people. I genuinely wouldn't want to be sponsored by someone that I didn't like meet in person and get a feel for them. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not like that happens a lot these days. It's always like, I'll email you, or like somebody's assistant like interviews you or some shit. Like, oh, my guy will be in touch. Oh, the back is extra sore today. Fucking like dealing with some just stressful shit the last few days. We've another leak in the fucking kitchen. Where's my bitches? Hold on, I get my bitches. It's time to get my bitches wet. Because it's time for some PEINTEINGU. But it's dealing with some absolute bullshit though, because the fucking we've another leak in the kitchen. And like, I don't know where exactly it's coming from. Paint, just yet. Okay. So I have to figure that shit out. Paint. And then the house is just so fucking cold. It's -4. It's -4 degrees Celsius there today. And it's a beautiful day. It's actually more warm outside than it is in the fucking house. It's because the house is damp. And it's got like rotting wood in it and shit. Like, you should see the amount of wood lice we have. It drives the female insane. She fucking hates them. You know, I'm a real man. I don't really, like, bugs don't really like bother me and shit. Like, I woke up with a fucking insane bite about like 3 weeks ago. I actually still have a slight mark from it. You won't be able to see it on the camera, but it got me like right here on the wrist side of the forearm, like, you know. And man, I woke up with like a welt. It was like a horsefly bite or something. Like, it was like something got me bad. Like, you know, it was like swollen and red and it was hard. But for the life of me, I couldn't find like a bite mark or an injection point or something, like. And I was just left bewildered. I was like, what the fuck bit me? Because like, all the bugs are pretty much like gone. Do you know what I mean? Like bees, spiders, like all this shit is like more or less non-existent in these temperatures at these times of the year. Like, do you know what I mean? Still got wood lice and stuff like that. But sure, they're living off the fucking wood, like, you know. But like, you don't get nearly as much, if any, of the other shit. Like, you know, during the summer, you'll have fucking wasps fly in all the time. You'll have like all sorts of creepy crawlies, especially because we're kind of like in a rural area. This house is really fucking old. So the walls are just like full of shit. It's so hilarious sometimes when we're lying in bed and like the female just like hears something in the walls. Like, scouts will remember this probably from like ages ago when we first moved here. And it was like a running thing for like the first couple of months, where like we would hear these really loud noises at night. No, it wasn't the neighbours shagging. I was like, Jesus, what's that? Fucking, we'd hear these really loud noises at night right above us. It sounded like it was in the ceiling. It didn't sound like it was on the, you know, on the roof, on the outside of the roof or whatever. But it turned out to be the neighbours' cats regularly just like bombing across the rooftops. And because the way the houses are built, you can just hear it like really, like it sounds like it's like right beside you, which when you think about it, logistically it is. It's only feet away from you. But because the houses aren't like solid, do you know what I mean? Like, there's like 2 or 3 walls in each house that are like towards the back that would be like really solid and made out of like, you know, proper rock and shit. Like, whereas the rest of the fucking walls are like a combination of like timber and fucking plaster and shit, you know? And a lot of them feel like they're fucking hollow, which they fucking might as well be, like, you know? Fucking heat. The heat leaves this house so fucking quickly. Like, I could put the heating on in every fucking room for 2 hours. I could get the whole room, the whole house, to like 30 degrees inside, and then turn everything off. And within, I'd say, about an hour and a half, it'd all be gone. It just seeps right out of the fucking house. Like, it's so annoying. constantly, every day, we find ourselves just like trying to heat up, trying to warm up most of the time. Like if we're not in the bedroom where we spend most of our time, like we'd be bringing our fucking dinners upstairs and shit on like trays and stuff, like, you know, because it's like not worth it to try and heat the whole fucking house, like, especially with electric fucking radiators. Like, you're joking me. Feckin' cold here today. Like, where is it there? Or what is it there? It's -4 here, man. And that's real temperature. You know, Celsius, not that fucking American gobshitery Fahrenheit. That is clearly a German word, you know? You people are such thieves. A little bit too much water on that bitch. That bitch was too wet. It's not something you hear very often. Bitch is still too wet. Where's my rag? Let me get my royal rag and deal with this wet bitch. Much better. Much better. I'll fix it later. Too much water in the goo. Alright, let's do the purple bitch's wings. Her hair needs a bit of work as well. The bitch getting fucking emptied in the chest with a shotgun by Mario looks fucking brilliant. Oh, God. Just have to do that bitch's rocket launcher. Lots to do. Lots to PEINTEINGU. And I said I don't want this one to be another 12-parter. But I don't know, maybe that would be a good thing. Maybe I'm wrong, you know? Fucking... A PEINTEINGU episode is like fucking... 40 streams long, like. This guy's been streaming for 12 years. Why is he only on episode 200? It's like... How dare you ruin the music? And wouldn't you know, it's a fucking negress nonetheless. The chief. Foreign dog, begone from my stream. Paint. Paint. -7, Jesus fuck. Wood rice as they are known in Japan. Wood rice? Paint. We're having a wood rice in the wars. In the wars? We're having a wood rice in the wars. You had wood rice in the wars? Yeah, wood rice in the wars. Like, that's fucking brilliant. Antonio-san, welcome to PEINTEINGU. Got 16 inches yesterday. Oh, jeez. You pay that guy away. You faggot. Got 16 inches yesterday. Not only are you clearly lying, but you're also a fag. The royal rag sounds like the Queen's tampon. Hold on, I just fetched my royal rag and the scout's just like, ew. 18 inches of snow is deep, man. It was 16. Get it right. Yeah, it's so cold here, we don't have any snow. That's how cold it is here. No snow. Um, I'm marrying Pam. Ha ha ha. The real life version stabber. Oh, fuck. Yo, 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 and a bottle of rum. That's hilarious that you put that in. I looked up sea shanties yesterday. Because I don't actually forget to do all the shit, like, like I am making a crow, I am making a monkey, I am looking into how to get people on the fucking stream and shit. 16 inches is deep too. Yeah, I know, but it's not 18 inches. Like 18 inches is like that's another 2 inches, like, And females would like make a point of that, like, Desmondo, you're fucking Redu. Pay up, That's gonna be the new. If you're late, or if you can't afford to pay, if you're late, you've no honor. If you can't afford to pay for PEINTEINGU, you've no honor. It's gonna get to the stage where, like, I'll be like, if you do not write my PEINTEINGU, you have no honor. I'll go full fucking narcissist and be like, if you don't like my art, you have no. Oh fuck! Where was it? I was on YouTube and I was looking at sea shanties, and I knew one of them. Like I remember, like I had heard one of them ages ago. Fucking what was it? Oh, let the cannons roar, Jack! Like fucking, I can't remember the names. They're really cool. I'll put them on later. When Dancing of Demons ends, I'll do the phrase of the day, and then we'll do some sea shanties, and we'll practice. And that, like, I'll get fucking. That'll make me want to get Griffo on the stream even more. That'll motivate me to not fucking remember to learn how to do that shit, because I've got so much shit. I just finished that fucking symmetrical, and I'm still doing the fucking jar of fucking Vegemite for the elf. And he's not even here! The fucking cheek of him! That Aussie prick! Paint. I came for the maths! Paint. Archuru, much honoru. Especially Pam. Paint. Leave her, Johnny. Leave her. Reave her, Johnny. Reave her. Right, I have the sea shanties lined up there. Oh God, my voice is already gone. Too much coffee and not enough water. Paint. The Wellerman and Randy Dandy are my two favourites. I think the Wellerman is on it. Hold on. PEINTEINGU goo. Grisky on the stream would be cool. Yeah, he said to get him on, like he wants to come on, so it's enticed me to learn how to do that. And what will entice me even more is sea shanties. Because I'll get some one of yous on, I'll get Griff on, or I'll get someone in the background or some shit, and I'll just put you like in the corner of the screen somewhere. I'll put you like over here or some shit. Or, I don't know, up here maybe. I don't know where I'll put you. But then we'll just sing sea shanties and I'll paint. It'll be fucking hilarious. And I'm sitting here in a kimono, headband with a top knot. Alright, let the cannons roar, Jack. Fucking fat. Just imagine so many people looking at what's happening on screen and just being like, like, I don't know if I'm offended. Like, there's other people looking at the screen being like, I feel offended. but I don't know what I'm offended by. I think I'm offended by everything. Oh fuck! I stuck my finger in the woodpecker's hole. Yee yee yee. Oh, oh, oh. Oh, hold on a minute. So yeah, roll the old chariot. Roll the old chariot on. That one's on it. And then Sally Brown. I don't want to sing Sally Brown though. Brown though, because it's about horror. Oh, here's a story for you, right? So I was in the car with the female yesterday, and we were coming back from running some errands in the next county over. Because Tiptown is like where we live in Tiptown is such a small place that like there's like shops here, like there's not enough shops here in terms of like having to get certain items or do certain things. So we have to like fucking huff it to the next county in the car. And we 2 seconds. I have so many thoughts going through my mind right now. What color to do the fucking purple Farpies wings and like all these different things. Like paint. I think I'm going with violet. Yeah, I'll do violet. So basically, we're on the car. We're on the car. Yeah, we were on the car. We're in the car on the way home, and I can't remember how we got onto it, but we ended up talking about this statue of this bitch that's in Dublin, right? It's just on one of this statue, this like bronze statue of some bitch pushing a cart full of like cockles and clams or whatever. It's just like on the street in Dublin, right? It's around the corner from Trinity College. It's like a really famous college in Dublin, right? And fucking growing up, like all I ever heard about this bitch is like her name's Molly Malone. The statue's of a bitch called Molly Malone, right? And all I ever heard was like she was like a famous woman from that area that used to just like go up and down with that cart, and she used to sell like cockles and clams, like like fucking fish food, basically, like and I had never heard like the other half of the story, or I wasn't paying attention when people told me, like and I did know though that the statue itself had garnered some like criticism because the bitch is wearing a really low cut corset. Like the statue itself is like the things got baps, like do you know what I mean? Like the baps are out like on the statue, like, and because of the like it's this real like Victorian, it's hundreds of years old, like so it's this low cut. Her hair's all tied up in that very debutante looking way, like but she's kind of like rough and tumble because she was supposed to be poor, but she's still wearing one of those like maiden's dresses things, like. I didn't know that, like, she was basically a hooker, During the day, she was carting the seafood around, but at night, to make extra money, she sold her body for profit, like, So she's basically a prostitute. And she was a very prolific prostitute, to the point where she got herself, like, they nicknamed her, they called her the tart with the cart. Because there'd be lads being like, "Oh, hey, Molly," and like during the day, some lads that shagged like fucking dozens of lads that shagged her the night previous would be out like running errands and working or whatever, and this bitch would be going up and down the street during the day selling clams and cockles. It's just fucking funny. She was selling them and taking them at the same time, and I didn't know any of this, right? So like me and the female are just in the car, and I can't remember how Molly Malone came up, but then the female's like, "Oh yeah, like fuck it, she was a whore," and I was like, "What? Does that? I didn't know. I don't think she was actually a prostitute. Like what? She was a whore? What the fuck? Like?" And the female's like, "Oh yeah, like the tart with the cart and all." Like I was like, "Are you fucking serious?" So I googled it, I looked it up, and it's all true, like And I swear, like the female thought it was so funny. Like Wishy thought it was so funny because she was like, "You didn't know that?" Like, I was like, "No, what the fuck?" Like, and because the first thing that came to my mind once I realized that like what she was saying was true, I was like, we have a statue of a prostitute, like a low class, like a poor prostitute, like a. We don't just have a bronze statue. We, the Irish people, don't just have in Dublin, in the streets on Dublin, beside one of our most esteemed centres for education, Trinity College. We have a bronze statue of a dirty hooker, a dirty, smelly street hooker. We made a statue of the bitch. And say, oh, no, Molly Malone, the tart with the cart. Everybody knew Molly. Like, oh, the lads loved Molly, they did. Like, they loved her so much they made a statue of her. I couldn't believe, and like the female thought it was hilarious. Like, you know what I mean? And I was actually sitting there for a few minutes in shock. I was like, that's one of those things where it's like, the thought that went through my mind. I was like, no wonder the place is so fucked. No wonder everything is so fucked. Like, that's insane. There's a statue of a woman who was well known in the area, well known to the population for being a prostitute. I'm sure there was loads of people that were like, "Oh, Molly's lovely. But you leave Molly alone. Molly, she deserves a statue. Molly was great." Like, it's like, oh yeah, I'm sure she was. You filthy fucks. Like, that's what that other song is about. Sally Brown, like, oh, Sally Brown or whatever, like that fucking shanty. It's about a hooker. It's about a hooker that they have all banged when they go like back to Portsmouth for some R&R. You know, like, you know what I mean? Like, they've all fucked Sally Brown. Like, it's just like, oh, like singing a song, loads of males on a boat singing a song about like, oh, Sally, she'll keep you warm at night and like all this fucking shit. Like, and I'm just like, you know, because you have such admiration for these dudes who like braved the seas on like boats made out of wood and linen and hemp rope. Like, do you know what I mean? Storms, sharks, fucking whales, all that. Like, I've like cannon fire. Like, do you know what I mean? Like at sea, those people had balls. Do you know what I mean? Like those were men. You know, like. But at the same time, I'm like, what a bunch of degenerate shits. Like, like, that's disgusting to me. Like, that's stomach-churningly disgusting to me. Like, if I knew that I had fucked a woman that, like, had just fucked, like, even if it was, like, 3, never mind 10 or 15, and like 3 dudes. Like, ideally 1, do you know what I mean? But like, given the context we're talking about, like, you know, because she's a hooker or whatever, like, I would just, I remember when I was younger, like coming up in my teenage years, and you'd hear these lads who were like getting their first car, their first job, you know, getting a bit of money and shit, like, oh, gonna go to Amsterdam. I'm gonna go to Amsterdam with the boys. You know, smoke a load of fucking weed, do a load of cocaine and all. Get a hooker, right? And it's like, you see that as a goal. I used to sit there and be like, how does that make any sense? How is that something you desire? Like, surely, like, from my point of view, it was like shameful and a sign of like weakness and desperation to pay for the comfort of a female. Like, that's like crazy. That was always crazy to me. Like, you know, I was like, Because, and maybe it's because the first thing I watched was Conan or something. I was like, my weird fucked up brain, fucked up in a good way, fucked up in a bad way, like, you know, either way. But like, I was like under the impression, forgive me for my naivete, I was under the impression from a very young age that a male had to earn a female. You had to be good at wooing them. You had to woo them. You had to be patient. You know, you had to like get to know them and like buy them things, and like women were women. They like pretty shit that smells nice. A lot of it's pink. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, I am still, like, I've gotten more sensitive, obviously, because I'm more emotionally intelligent. But I was so masculine. I was like, I still am very masculine, but like to the point where I was like, I didn't and couldn't comprehend paying for sex. I was like, the shame, the dishonor, in like trading for a woman. Like, you're gonna earn money. And like, whatever about the drugs, like, do you know what I mean? I was like, that makes sense. Do you know what I mean? Like, can't do it here, it's illegal here, it's legal there, whatever. Like, do you know what I mean? But it's like, you're going to earn money to go abroad, to spend more money, to potentially, like, get a disease. Do you know what I mean? Like, and I don't even know if that shit works like that anymore. Like, do you know what I mean? Because the dude's like Tom Barnett, where he's like, I tried to get an STI. I really did. You know, like, and then you think about what that implies, and you're just like, dude, damn. Like, paint. For the life of me, I never understood that shit. Oh yeah, can't wait. Gonna go to Amsterdam with the boys, get a hooker. I'm like, gay? Like, not just gay, like, like, that's fucking disgusting. Like, hookers are rank. And like, have any of you noticed that, where they've tried to make Lilith more enticing? They've tried to make Lilith more relatable and shit. By Lilith, I mean, like, you know, the whore, like, in general, in a biblical sense. I've noticed that in media, where like, it's like prostitution and like whores. Like, I think, just like Owen has, like, broken the nigger spell and, like, the faggot spell and shit, like, he didn't really need to break the faggot spell, you know? Like, fucking Dave Chappelle was still saying faggot, like, you know? But, like, obviously he definitely broke the nigger one, like, you know? But, like, what about whore? You know? All these, like, you know, the slut shaming. Like, do you know what I mean? Forget slut. Whore! Like, the whore! Like, there's something. It's like cunt. It has that gravitas of, like, you are a whore! Like, and, like, a lot of modern women who aren't, they're financially, like, the way they make money, like, they could work in an office or in a shop or something, like, so they're not actually whores. But a lot of modern women actually behave like a whore. It's crazy. It's fucking crazy to me, like. You have these bitches, like, on fucking podcasts, like, arguing with people, not just men, other women, but, like, arguing with people who are like, why is porn a bad thing? And she's, like, sitting there with, like, this thing that's just above her nipples and, like, a tattoo on her face and fucking snake bites and dyed pink hair and shit. And you're just like, you don't see the connection. Like, you know, and her tits are, like, clearly really fake. Do you know what I mean? They're, like, inflated and, like, they look way too perfect in the set. They look like plastic. Do you know what I mean? They look like if you actually went to poke her breast, it wouldn't give. You know, like, it'd just be like, you know, like, solid. Like, these bitches that you just have a constant pout, and their cheeks and shit are just like, I don't understand how those bitches could be like, so what's wrong with my lifestyle? And it's like, you're a whore. Like, what do you mean what's wrong with that lifestyle? It's like to me, that's like a murderer being like, you know, you catch him with like bloody hands and a knife and a dead children. Do you know what I mean? Like 7 dead children and a meat cleaver. And you're like, dear God, what have you done? And he's like, I've killed 7 children. What of it? Like it's that bad to me. Like it's on that level where you have these bitches that are like, so, and they're fucking almost always like playing with their hair or chewing gum or like have kind of some kind of like nervous tick with their hair or a necklace or something. Like there's just these females that are like, like the female equivalent of the soy boy beta male, where like they're just these like regardless of sex, there's just these human beings now that these cunts that are like, I have anxiety, the fucking almond milk drinking creatures that exist today, like these fucking like, oh God, I fucking hate them so much. Like they make me physically ill. Like I don't even need to be in the presence of somebody like that to feel like spiritually drained. I can just see them on a fucking ad or something for like, for oat milk, an ad for oat milk with some dude called Bob, and he's just like, just got man boobs and fucking, like, and a really thinned out beard. Like, just there's something within me is just like, I hate them. I'd love to look up my ancestry, but I'm probably related to like some pirates or some shit, like, or some like, I wouldn't be surprised if there was some nobility in my past, because like I have a soft spot for the like just like the whole like pirate's life, sailing, old school, alchemical, conquering, real men from historic times were traveled and conquered on grit alone, like that kind of shit. Like I would love to learn how to fence, like, properly. Do you know what I mean? Duel like a gentleman. Like, I'd love to learn how to fence, and I'd love to own like a proper saber. Do you know what I mean? And like really nice clothes and shit. I swear to God, like, and I totally agree with guys who'd be like, what, you want to look like a faggot? And I'm like, no, like, I'd look cool. I'd look more like a vampire. I wouldn't have all the frilly shit and all, like, do you know what I mean? But, like, definitely not the shoes. Do you know what I mean? I would alter it a lot. But I like that era. And I like it because it's civilized. That's why I like it. I like it because it's civilized. Like, I prefer speaking articulately, to use one's vocabulary in a artistic and creative fashion in order to convey complicated, sophisticated, and deeply profound ideas. Shit like that, Like, who's specialized in portals? What the fuck? Iron Man Burrow, welcome. Oh, PEINTEINGU. My new bear name, Wooing Bear. Oh, God. Yeah, normies. I feel, checks notes, possibly offended. I could totally see someone having that reaction, like, to this stream. I'm not even playing. Like some fucking liberal woke fag would just be like, this is so wrong on so many... Like that fucking comment that I got weeks ago, where it was just like, how is this not racist? No username, no user profile pic. It's just blank. No followers, no nothing. Like, just this random profile. Like, how is this not racist? And it's like... it's not even a real person. But there's people like that, And it is the minority. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, most people, like, fucking pretty much everybody who interacts with me is like, oh, I love Defender. He's fun, he's smart, he's, like, sound and shit. And it's like, I am. That's the reality. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, I'm not lying. Like, it's so funny to live in a time where, like, all the people who are up to something assume that you're up to something when you meet them or interact with them because they're up to something. Do you know what I mean? Like the whole like I used to have something similar, and I still kind of do. Where if I come across a person, like I criticize my father for this reason because he didn't drink, he didn't smoke, he didn't do any drugs, and like his only like outlet was like watching the motorbikes on the telly or something, like, or like working on his bike. Like he had outlets, but like they weren't the kind of outlets that like your average person had, like going drinking with the lads on the weekend or some shit. Like, so he was quite the oddball in a lot of ways. Like, you think I'm a fucking weirdo? You should meet me dad. Like, like my dad's fucking funny bloke. Like in loads of ways. Like, he used to have like swords and shit like just beside his bed when he moved out of me ma. Wait, well, it wasn't me ma's. It became me ma's eventually. Like, I think I'm not even sure. That's a different irrelevant. But like when he moved out of our home, like when they split up and he left, he like rented out this bungalow down the road, about 40 minutes down the road. He rented out this bungalow for a while, a couple of years, and I remember visiting him one time, and he was like showing me around, like. And we went into his bedroom, and he was like, "Yeah, so this is me now." Like, and he had all these swords and shit, like, and like sacrificial, and they're not like super really cool looking, like, it's the type of stuff that a lot of us would be like, oh, that's a nice blade, like, and a lot of they're not cheap ones, they're like proper metal, most of them, but they were just beside his bed, like. And then when he eventually moved in with his missus, they were all like relegated to one room and shit. Like, do you know what I mean? It's just, it was so funny to see. It was so funny to see him like leave my mother because he came to the conclusion. He was like, "This bitch is crazy. Like, I can't handle this anymore." Like, which is a very vague summarization of the reasons that they got divorced. But like, and then a brief period of him being on his own, and you could like really see who he was, the man that he was, like, like bit of a nerd, but like a bit of a tough guy as well at the same time in weird ways, like. And then like he moves back in with a different female, and it was like whorehouse and shit, and it all gets relegated. Like his entire personality got relegated to one room. I just thought that was so funny. It's hilarious how like the dynamic between male and female relationships now in this modern era is so weird, like, because like most people find themselves in a relationship where it's like, oh well, just because you're a woman and just because I'm a man doesn't mean we have to abide by these traditional archetypes, like, and then that causes all sorts of problems. But then you have the people like us that kind of adhere more to like traditional archetypes of like male and female relationships and like what you should be like in those relationships and shit, like. And but it's still all over the place. Like, look at me, like I'm doing this, and my female works in an office. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's like, what the fuck? Like, it's so funny to be like. And a lot of these people who like are like devoutly religious and like, or claim to be anyway. And a lot of these, I say young men, like guys my age, like, you know what I mean, fucking like 30 or whatever, on the internet being like, oh, women these days, and like, I'm a real man, go to gym, lift weights, drink my protein shake, I work hard. And it's like, what do you do? It's like, I work at the bar at Jamba Juice. You know what I mean? Like, it's got like tattoos and shit. Like, it's like the type of people who are like, why do you get a real job? It's like, well, what do you do? I put boxes together in a factory. It's like, is that a real job? Is it? Like, so, why don't you get a real job? What do you do? I fuck people financially, and I earn like 450 grand a year. Oh, so that's a real job. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, why don't you get a real job? What do you do? Like, I'm a grave digger. Like, it's like, that's a real job. dig holes in the ground. We put bodies in them. I'm no banker. It's like, this is what I do. Like, I make shit. I make people laugh, I create things. You know, people like it, people buy it. It's so funny to me how people's opinions of things that just are have become so skewed because things have become so skewed and things have been presented to us in a skewed fashion, and a lot of people have believed it to be true. I just find all of it fascinating, to be honest. Like, half the time I feel like, you know, and I can imagine like a lot of you relate to this. Like I know Owen like definitely feels like this from time to time, but like sometimes it's like, am I? Do you know what I mean? Because like there's so many of these fucking absolute lunatics. Am I the like odd one out? Like, but then you look at shit where it's like there's actually loads of like there's loads of like truth and like historical precedent and fucking spiritual writings that talk about like this time and it being like this. That there's like fuck all people who are just willing to be good and speak that. Like, I don't even see myself as like a truther or a truth teller or like that I'm a truth seeker or whatever. It's like I just speak my mind. Like, that's it for me. Like, I speak my mind. I'm in flow or whatever. That's why Owen's thing is so good. It's like I might be wrong, but I'm not lying, because like, look if I know. Do you know what I mean? Like, half the shit I say in this fucking stream, I can just like, Owen, I'll look back in like 10 years and be like, dear fucking God, what was I thinking? The state of me. You know? No wonder I wasn't making a lot of money when I was 70 episodes in. The fucking shit I was saying. Like, paint. Like, but it's like, I'm not gonna fucking... Like, I hate fake people. I detest them. Paint. You know? And I think that's why I love doing this so much. And I think that's why, you know... I mean, otherwise you guys wouldn't show up all the time. Like, like, and it doesn't, like... I genuinely don't care how many people are here. I get where Owen's coming from. It's like, as long as you know someone else real is on the other end of this thing, you're like, grand. And even then, I've done it and there's no one here. And like, that's the one time I felt a little bit off the wall. Was like for 45 minutes straight, I did this with no one. Just me and the laptop. Like, and then like, I enjoyed it. I was playing tunes. I fucking like, can't remember if I was playing tunes actually. It's actually more impressive if I did it with no music. Like, I just pretended people were watching. I think that shit's hilarious. Like, that's the type of thing that most people... I've come across that a lot, right? Where, like, the sort of thing that I just feel comfortable doing, you know? This has happened to me a lot throughout my life. I'll just, like, do something. Or, like, propose just doing something. And, like, the people around me would be like, oh, no, I couldn't do that. You know? Oh, I wouldn't do that. And, like, all that's going through my mind is like, why not? Why wouldn't you? And it's always like, they're just afraid. They're just scared of something. They're scared of being judged. They're scared of fucking up. They're scared of like that's what it is. Like, I'm scared of failing. I'm scared of being judged. I'm scared of people not liking me. I'm scared of like, and it's, how funny is it when you're like, oh, I just need people to like me? It's like, what, you want cunts to like you? There's a load of cunts out there. There are so many cunts on the internet. You should not care if they like you or not. You, like, most of them, if not all of them, you should like want them to not like you, because it then reinforces that you're more than likely not a cunt like them. That's the way I think about things. I might be wrong, but I'm not writing. Oh my god, yeah, don't even get onto me about like she stank of fish like for more than one reasons. Defo on the shanty. Yeah, we will definitely be doing paint sea shanties in a bit. Uh Bet she had crabs too, but paint. She stank of fish both night and day. Yeah, like disgusting. Like selling a wide variety of clams. That's the best one. That bitch sold her clams more ways than one. That bitch stood in front of a mirror and was like, you know what, Molly? There's more than one way to sell a clam. Paint. It's like, it's just so dirty, like, and like dirty in the bad way, like, because you're like, I'm Irish, so believe me when I tell you that, like, I can be dirty. I can be dirty. Do you know what I mean? Like, and like, but it's like dirty in like the kind of way that like, that everyone, that kind of like tongue in cheek, like elbow in the ribs, kind of like, oh, dirty, or like, like that kind of dirty, like, not actual like, like repulsive revulsion, like, do you know what I mean? Magic, Google. A lot happening on this painting, Goo. Magical creatures being shot to pieces. Fairies being granted their wings, only to have them stripped away by gunfire. Tragic. Painting. Google. Painting. Goo. Painting. Goo. Only in Leprechaun country could such thing. I know. Like, it made me feel ashamed to be Irish for a minute. Like, do you know what I mean? So bad. Like, imagine erecting a fucking statue of a hooker. You know. How great was Molly, lads? It's like, 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 that's not the type of thing that you should like, idolize or whatever, like, or what's the word, revere or admire, like, do you know what I mean? Fuck that, like. I used to translate in a knocking shop for foreign workers who can't speak Spanish. Funny as hell. I'd say it was. I'd say that was gas crack sometimes. Corberu, welcome to PEINTEINGU. She was a proper strumpet. Thou vile strumpet! Yeah, like, me and the female started watching this thing called Paul Dark yesterday on Netflix. And, I just, like, we finished that manifest shit. So I was like, fuck it, we'll look for something else to watch. And I seen this Paul Dark thing, and I know she likes, like, period dramas. And I was like, I kind of do too, if it's, like, stuff like Sharp, with, like, what's his name? What's that fucker's name? Sean Bean. If it's stuff like that, like, I like period stuff. Like, I really wanted I actually do really want to watch that fucking Napoleon movie that fucking Ridley Scott brought out. And like I've heard that there's like loads of historical inconsistencies and shit. Like, but I like watching good movies for like the fact that it's a good movie. And for me, what makes a good movie is not no propaganda. No trying to like put a message in the movie. Um, Great acting, great cinematography, great storytelling, and good pacing, which I suppose is good storytelling or whatever. Like so good directing. You know, like you just want to watch a movie and enjoy it. That's all. Like that's all I fucking want. Like I don't want to watch a movie and be like just constantly be like, "Where's the gravy?" or like uh, give a movie a pass just because it doesn't have any woke shit in it when it's not even that great of a movie. It just doesn't have any woke shit in it. Like yeah, I want to watch. I want to watch the Napoleon one. Look good. I like Joaquin Phoenix as an actor. I still haven't seen that Joker movie. Must give that a watch. People said it was good. Kind of want a greeny blue to mix in with the. Yeah, that'll do. It's kind of a viridian or a teal. It's a very pretty color. Okie dokie. Oh yeah, the fucking yellow one was going to get purple hair, the blue one was going to get yellow hair, and then I already gave her fucking nappy afro. Um, right, we're getting there. I never noticed. I never noticed him where. I never noticed you were a weirdo. Like, well, you're not paying attention. I once knew a pimp in a wheelchair went by the name Stephen Hawking. Oh my god. Hank Paint. Oh god. Stephen, King of Horrors. Oh, that's good to know, Corbear. That's good to know. It's always nice when like you interact with like people in that way and they get it. I had a similar experience. I don't know if he's actually gonna like he hasn't shown any interest or whatever, but he's definitely bear adjacent. But like I met up with a friend that I hadn't seen in years, who was very dear to me. He's been on the stream a few times. Damien Curtis. Um, like we hung out like every day when we were like 15, 16 or something and there was loads of us and we were really good friends for years, like lots of childhood memories and shit, like. And then like I started hanging around with different people, kind of got into, not kind of, did get in with the wrong crowd, made a lot of bad decisions, spent most of my time just doing a lot of drugs and drinking and playing video games and shit. And I think he moved to like Canada for a while or some shit, like. But just after the COVID shit kind of was starting to pull back a bit, I think it was around that time. I was back in Dublin visiting, and I met up with him, and the energy between the two of us was so good because he was like on the same vibe. Obviously, he's not a bear, but like he had been looking at similar stuff and like been finding similar stuff very interesting and all, like, and was like didn't get vaccinated and like was talking about all the COVID shit as if he was sane and had a brain and stuff, like. And it was it was great, but at the same time, it was bittersweet because I met at the same time I was with another friend who wasn't nearly as receptive to half the shit. Big into dinosaurs. Uh, like huge Jurassic Park and Lego and Disney and Star Wars fan. Like huge. Has loads of tattoos, and they're all from video games and movies. Massive Joker fan, massive Batman fan. Uh, the type of guy to like criticize heavily like everyone who played Joker and how they did, but loved Heath Ledger's Joker and shit. Like the type, like just like comic book movie fanboy hardcore, like love the guy. Like I still have a lot of affection for him. Like, do you know what I mean? But it's just like hard to watch people like that who like that part of them doesn't grow up because they really don't want to. That like kind of Peter Pan syndrome of like, because like I kind of destroyed dinosaurs for him, and like you could see it in his face where he was kind of like, he was very disheartened. Like it was hilarious. Like we actually did like one episode of a podcast together, and he was going for a job that like involved doing stuff for like the Star Wars franchise or something, like making costumes or something. And in the podcast episode, the one episode we did, I like said the word faggot and like called Star Wars like a gay franchise now, and like it's all just gay now and shit, like and shit, it's gay and shit. Like and he pulled out of doing more podcasts with me because he was like, yeah, I don't know if they'll let me do this job if I, do shit like that with you and all. Like, if they found out, like, it probably wouldn't be a good thing and shit. And I was just like, yeah, cool, whatever. Like, suit yourself. Like, yeah, I didn't give a fuck. Like, I just wanted to do a podcast. Like, it was so funny to like see that shit go down. Like, just in my life, nobody knows who I am. Like, do you know what I mean? I'm nobody. Like, I'm just a dude. I'm just a dude, bro. And like to get little snippets of what it would be like on a micro scale, what it would be like to engage in a project with someone and then them pull out because of stuff you say and the things you think and the opinions you have, and them being afraid that them being associated with you and your opinions could perhaps be a bad thing. Like, I don't even think he fucking did the job anyway. Like, like, but it's just, it was sad to be like, to just be aware of that. Like, oh, you're always going to be like that. Like, you're not willing to like level up and shit, like, and figure out some new things and like challenge your ego in certain ways, like, because that's what it is. Like, it's like, don't you ruin Jurassic Park for me, like, and I was just like, fair enough, like, and it's like because I have love for him, like, it's kind of like I just stepped away, like, like stop talking about that shit, and like, like me and Damo actually annoyed him. We were in a pub and like we were just talking gravy, you know, and he was like, you guys just like keep talking about all this stuff, like, and I just want to like hang out. And it's like you could tell that me and Damo were like looking at him, being like, "This is us hanging out. Like this, this is what we find interesting and fun, and like stimulating to talk about and shit." Like he just wanted to talk about like movies and like like pop culture shit, like anything, like like all the usual stuff. Like he doesn't want to like animals, anything, like he doesn't want to talk about like really high level, like intellectual, interesting, anything that like may or may not, like what if this is true and what if this is real, like what if this is fake, like, and why would they lie and all this shit. Like he couldn't give a fuck about that. Like, and like I do understand people like that. I comprehend their mindset and their mental state, but I pity them. I feel bad for them. And like, there is a part of me that kind of resents them because it's like there's a part of me that thinks that like people who refuse to challenge their ego a bit, people who refuse to like just face things and like have no fear and like speak their mind and like find out if things are true or false or whatever, like people like that only make Satan's job easier, you know? And I use the term Satan very loosely, like, do you know what I mean? I'm not a fucking dogmatic Christian or whatever, like, I'm far from it. Like, do you know, like, from my perspective, you could fucking it amongst many other ethereal, spiritual, magical fucking entities has many names, you know? Satan, Shaitan, the evil one, the shadow, the dark one, all these fucking things, like, you know, may as well be Sauron. Like, you know, like, oh, you want to know a pet peeve of mine? Which is, you're probably going to think is hilarious. Like, every time I hear Owen say Siron instead of Sauron, I like cringe a bit. Like, I'm like, dude, it's Sauron. Like, it's Sau. It's Sau. Siron? Like, it's not Sai. The fuck? Like, fucking Americans can't speak English. Like, and like, it happens every time. Like, it's not like it happened, like, when I first started listening to his streams and I was like, this fucking idiot can't pronounce Lord of the Rings names properly. Like, anytime he says it, I'm like, oh, it like hurts me a bit. Like, you know? Oh, I'm like, I'm a stickler for shit like that though. Like, I'll correct Wishy when she does stuff like that. Like, but it's because I love language and I love words and I love like that's what I love Dylan Sakosio stuff. I still have to get through his last two books. Number four, and number five in the Spirit World series. Like, I love language so much. I love, like, I'd love to come up with my own language, but it's so fucking difficult to do it properly. Like, in terms of like coming up with the grammar and the syntax and all this fucking shite. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, really difficult. Like, um, to get into and to start doing. It's probably really easy once you know what you're doing because it's like it's probably like art or painting or like engineering or once you get to a certain level in a thought form or like in a paradigm of like an activity, like a skill or a craft. Once you get to a certain level, things just start to click in a lot of ways, and you're kind of like, oh, it's like this, like you know. That's how it feels for me anyway. Is like you learn something new, and then you get to a certain point where like you kind of just have this general understanding of how it works and you know what's capable, what's possible, like you know within a certain degree and shit. Like I feel like if I spent a few weeks just like hardcore trying to learn how to like make my own, you know, homemade like Tesla coil or like homemade like you know like not really simple, kind of complicated, but like fairly novice level alchemical and engineering stuff. Like you know, like I'd love to learn how to make those rocket stove heater things that fucking Chris Gardner makes to do his biochar. I'd love to learn how to make them. And like a lot of it is very simple. Like you just need some basic resources, but it's getting those resources. Like a lot of it is basic building materials. A lot of it is basic chemical materials. Do you know what I mean? Just like of like a bottle of this or like a couple of milliliters of this shit or like you know, and a lot of it you can just buy on Amazon or order, but it's knowing what materials in what combination and like when and how and all this fucking shit. Like, and it's just getting in there and like figuring out. Like, that's how I operate in terms of learning new shit. Is like I pick a moment where I'm going to like, all right, I'm going to do this now. I'm now doing this. You know. And so, like a few people in the last week or two were like, "Oh, dude, you should try animation. You should get into animation." Totally agree. I think I'd be really good at it. But like, trying to add that skill to my utility belt right now would slow me down and would only take me longer to get to a point where I have at least a steady income, which is my current priority. Is I need at least a steady stream of income from all this um to make the female feel a bit more secure, and to allow me to improve all of this a little bit more steady. You know, it's not that like I do have an income from this. It's just not large enough or steady enough yet. And considering I've only been doing this, like I've been doing this about what few months. I'm gonna stream every day. Fuck it, I'll turn it into a proper thing. I've been doing it a few months. In terms of my art, my painting, I've been doing it like 2, 3 years, and I've made a few grand. Like when I say that out loud, I'm like, fuck. And like I know other people be like, you only made a few grand. You're not pulling in 150K a year from all your fucking NFTs. Like no, nigga. Like since just before COVID hit, in the last few years, I have managed to buy a lot of materials and paint stuff that people have paid hundreds of euros for. Fuck yeah, I'm good at this shit. Like I'm really good at this, and people know it and people like it, but like nobody knows who the fuck I am. It'd be a hell of a lot different if there was a fucking like 1,000 people in the chat right now. Like, like fucking boom, chat, boom, chat. There's only on average 7 people on this stream, and I still make like 30 quid a week sometimes. That's insane. Do you know, like, like a lot of people really don't understand how weirdly easy it is to do stuff like this, but at the same time, how insanely difficult it can be. You know, it's yeah, easy is probably the wrong word. It's so simple to get on the internet and do something that you're passionate about and good at, and people will love you for it. You guys love me for this shit. Like, I see how much fun and joy it brings people like Scouse and Griff and all. Like, it's like I feel it, and that's why you keep doing it. And that's why I love doing it. Like, it's not about like Owen says with the promo codes and the selling. Like, I'm terrible at that shit. I'm terrible at marketing myself. I'm terrible at fucking like, but I'm great at just like hitting record and doing something funny. That's what I'm great at, and that's what matters to me. Like, it's like you build it, they will come. Like the elf showing up and being like, the elf, like the elf showing up and being like, what is this? This, like, what am I watching? This is the best thing I've ever seen. It was so fucking funny. Like, uh, Leandro Ramirez. Ooh, who are you? How long has this one process been? This one's process been? I don't understand the question. What process? The process of me over the last few years of painting, or the process of this painting, or like confirm your question. Nudge, nudge, wink, wink. Say no more. Later's everyone. See you later, Scouts. Tequila Sunrise is one of my favorite films. Have you? No, I've heard the name of that though. I've never seen Tequila Sunrise. There's another really famous one that a lot of people have seen that I haven't. Vanilla Sky. Is that what it's called? Or Vanilla Skies or something like? There's loads of famous movies that I haven't seen. Clockwork Orange, 2001: Space Odyssey. I haven't. I've never sat down and watched start to finish. The Shining, but I've seen like pretty much the whole movie. Tango and Cash was another great movie. No, I haven't seen that. I know what it is though. Uh, Stuntman and Scouse would be the next great movie. Yeah, I agree, Dick 40. I would pay good money to see that shit. I would be sad. But I'd pay good money to watch an hour and a half of just like, or 3 hours even, of like Scouse Bear and Stuntman Bear, just Stuntman driving around and the two of them just talking about shit. Like, that'd probably be really entertaining. It's just the two of them shooting the shit. It would be really fucking funny. Like, yeah, I heard that too, Demon Hunter, that the fucking Joker movie was Gamma Wish fulfillment. Uh, yeah. But I also heard that it was like a good movie, you know? Like well shot, well acted, like shit like that. Like stuff what I was saying earlier on. Uh, I used to have bitch you, but I couldn't handle the word bitch all the time, and I did bitch. Just every time you go onto the thing, it's just bitch. The fact that you couldn't handle that proves that you are a bitch, though. See where I'm coming from? Uh, yeah, like I don't have a BitChute, but I've gone on BitChute before. It's a bit weird. Like it has weird shit on it. It literally is kind of like a BitChute. It's like a place where videos go when they don't go other places. Like it's exactly what it says on the tin. I only use it for movies and don't read comments on any other channels. Man, I know what you mean about like comments. This painting, this is the seventh stream. So this painting is give or take 5 hours in. Because you have to account for a lot of the time I'm talking and I'm not painting. So it's not like I've been painting for like 8 hours or some shit. But this is stream 7 of this episode. So 2 hours ish is stream. Sometimes I do an hour and 40 minutes, or sometimes I go over. Um, which is 14 hours. I've probably been painting this for about, yeah, maybe, probably not even 5 hours like straight. I paint for a bit, I stop. I do a bit, I stop. Sometimes I do a lot. The background, I'll do a lot of painting or some shit, like to get shit on the page. That'd be interesting actually to actually try and go back and figure out how long it actually takes me to paint these. Because it's probably not that long at all. It's not exactly fine art. like, like the most artistic looking thing on the page is fucking the plant, the troll, and Gaddafi. Like the rest of it's pretty shit. Look, well, at least for the moment, anyway. I'm starting to put more detail into the Farpies. And if you don't know what a Farpie is, it's a cross between a harpy and a fairy. And that's what this bitch basically gave birth to because I accidentally gave her a backward facing knee like a fucking velociraptor. It's like, oh, I'll paint some fairies, like, and I try to paint her legs, like, they were kind of like in a dainty pose. I ended up painting her legs, like one of them had a backward facing knee like a fucking bird. But fairies do fly, So maybe that was just subconsciously in my mind. Like, it's like fairies should have backwards facing knees. They have wings. Like, just makes sense. Um, want to do a monthly thing for you, like unauthorized. I've been thinking about that. I've been looking into that thing, coffee, and if that would be something you guys would prefer, uh, instead of like super chats or whatever like that, if that would be handier, I'll set up a coffee thing, and then you can all subscribe to the coffee thing, and then give me like X amount every month or whatever. But I don't know how it works. I don't know how any of that shit works, so I'm gonna have to look into it. I don't even know how to have Griff on the stream yet, so like I'm still learning how to actually like be a streamer. I'm a painter first, entertainer second. Um, but it's been an interesting ride so far. I mean, like fucking the fact that this wasn't even my idea, like this wasn't supposed to be this. Do you know what I mean? Like another form of income for me, and like a way to like have fun and show my art off to people and shit and all. Like I got a few scans together actually earlier of the symmetrical I finished this morning, and the logo that I did for Papa J. So like in the next coming weeks, there's going to be a lot of new stuff I've made coming to the forefront because I haven't been able to scan it because it's larger than it usually is. The local place that I use can only scan stuff at a limit, I think like A3, which is actually pretty small. For the stuff like I like painting big shit. A moment while I replace the glorious light of heaven. It's getting dark in this bitch. Right, let's do the phrase of the day, and then we'll do some sea shanties, paint some fairies. Um, Probably going to end up doing a longer one today because the females work late. She's trying to work up time so she can take some days off. So I can afford to PEINTEINGU a bit longer. But yes, in the meantime, if you wish to support PEINTEINGU, link in description. If you wish to buy any of my merchandise, link is also in description. If you would like to commission a painting, put it in chat. Message me. Simply ask. And if I paint this fucking jar of Vegemite for that Aussie cunt and he doesn't give me something for it or doesn't show back up on the stream and thank me for it, I will burn it live on stream. Buying you an Irish coffee would make for an interesting show. Oh god, now I want an Irish coffee. It's like I have the heating on in here and I'm still kind of cold. I can feel the cold is in my bones. That's how cold it's been in this fucking house the last couple of weeks. It's in my fucking bones at this stage. I was having a bowl of noodles earlier on, and I was sitting in the lotus position on the bed, clutching it between my hands, just it's so fucking cold, bro. I used to I think that's why Sleep Deprived Bear turned around a few weeks ago, and he was like, "The fact that you've been streaming every day and doing it sober." And I was like, "Sober? What the fuck are you on about?" Um, when I first started doing these, because it was just for the Irish Bears, it was just for Bear Banter. Because the idea was oh, you should do a painting show to because the idea was to do more content for bears because it's you don't want to just be watching Owen all the time, you know. Even though that pretty much the only stream I watch is Owen, and then I watch other shit, but it's not streams, you know. Well, some of it, I watch gamer streams, but it's not the same thing. Do you know what I mean? It's like somebody playing a video game. It's not somebody doing a podcast or a particular subject matter or some shit like that. Oh, it's pretty much the only stream I watch. I occasionally dip into Biocharisma, Tom Barnett, Narco Longo, some of the other stuff on unauthorized.tv. Vox's streams are class. He can put you to sleep though. It can be it's not that it's boring. It's just it's so chill because he's a very interesting man and he talks about fascinating stuff and he's really funny. And his vibe and his community is fucking awesome. I've been meaning to do that actually, to actually try and get involved in the social galactic scene as well, because I eventually want to get around to making my own comic book, but I've kind of put that on the shelf for the moment. But I have an idea for a comic book that the female thinks would be really good. Um, and without sounding arrogant, I know it'd be class. I know it'd be really good, because I know what good shit is you know. I know what it takes to make something good in that sense, you know. I'm not sitting here saying I could make a great video game or a great movie. I could probably design the overall direction of one, um, but I make really good characters, good fun characters with good storylines and awesome abilities and funny shit and all and me and the female have just been driving sometimes and I'll bounce ideas off her and she's like, that's really good or that doesn't work or why this or whatever and fucking it brings me great joy. It's one of my favorite things to do is just make up my own universe. It's also one of the reasons why I admire and respect and thoroughly enjoy things like Lord of the Rings and uh, all Star Wars, universes that are created that you can just dive into and shit. What's that fucking movie we watched recently? Mortal Engines. Can't even remember how that ended. I remember enjoying the at least the first half of Mortal Engines. That was really cool. I don't fucking remember how that ended though. Maybe we didn't finish it. Anyway, um, 10 Rogans V good. Ah, excellent. Do you know what? Actually, I've been uploading these to Rumble, and I checked the latest one there the other day, and it got 31 views. And I was like, oh, hello. I've been uploading them to Rumble for weeks now. Not consistently. One episode a day every few days or some shit. And they're getting views, 10 here, few there, whatever, like, and I have like fuck all followers, no, like 2 likes or something. So it's like nobody knows I exist on the thing. But when I noticed that my Instagram and my TikTok started to get kind of like shadow banned or whatever, like it is super fucking weird when you look at my Instagram and my TikTok and like the growth over like the last 2 years and how many hits some of my stuff got, like 3,000, 4,000, 4,800s, like, and then it's just gone. And now like my videos on Instagram get like max like 100 or 200. Most of the times like 30 or 50. And then on TikTok, it's always over 200, but not above 300. It's so weird. It's such a, like, it's clearly fuckery. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's one of those things where you look at it and you're like, that's not fair. Like, that's rigged, like, and yes, fair enough. It's their platform. They can rig it whatever the fuck, whatever way they want to rig it. But like, it's mad what they do. It's actually mad what they do. Like, it's so dishonorable. It's so weak. Do you know what I mean? Could you imagine running a system like that and you could like uh covertly, suppress people from getting too big or from having too large an audience? And I'm not saying that like I'd have millions of viewers, like, but I guarantee you there would be a few hundred people here having a laugh, you know? Definitely like. And it's weird. It's weird seeing the stuff not go anywhere, when you know that like people like it. Like it's a weird feeling that like something somewhere is like, no, not you. Like, not you. You're not welcome here, not your kind. Like, it's fucking mental. Like, and like, it'd be fucking funny if it's like, if it's not like my vulgarity or like, well, obviously it's not my vulgarity. It's like, maybe it's because I've said nigger, maybe it's because I've said faggot. It's just in the algorithms or whatever. But I have a feeling it's because I stopped drinking and smoking. I have a feeling it's because I stopped drinking and smoking on stream and I said that like I want to do that because I don't want to advertise that shit. I don't want to be like doing that shit on stream. And sometimes it's hard. Sometimes I want to light up on stream and like have a cigarette and like chill out a bit. Sometimes I get a bit like, but like it's actually better for the stream because then I look a bit more animated and have a bit more anxious energy, a bit more like excitement to me because I'm like kind of chomping at the bit. Kind of like how Owen's like, sometimes on the streams he's like, I gotta eat. Like, like these fucking Pajeets. It's like, I gotta eat. Like I've felt like that where like before the stream I'm like, I need to eat, I need to have a cigarette, I need to like, prepare myself and all, like, and then I won't, and then I'm on stream and I'm like, ah, I'm so fucking hungry and cold. I'm trying to have a cigarette, but I'm trying to entertain you. I have fairies to paint. Fellow racist bear, this painting. All right, fellow racist bear, welcome to PEINTEINGU. F or B Beru. No, no, fellow racist do. Like, we got Stabberoo, Griffu, Desmond do, Pedlaroo. Joe Gagan's never here though. He's always too busy fucking being a peddler of pedals in Albuquerque. What else we got? Fucking most people just get an ooh on the end of the name, And then I think if you're here long enough, Scouse is around the longest though, and Scouse is just Scouse. Well, I suppose Scouseu or Scouse Beru. It just brings me so much joy. Just putting an ooh on the end. It's like, it just makes me laugh so much. The idea of somebody getting really annoyed at watching my stream. Like, I kind of feel like that comedian like Anthony Jeselnik sometimes, where it's like, could you imagine if someone like found this like really offensive and like came to my house or some shit, like, and like, assaulted me or something, I'd be kind of happy. I'd be like, dear God, I'm really making an impact. like, like I do. I have that similar thought process that Owen's like, oh, they're like freaking out. I must be onto something. Like, do you know, like that's I had that thought with fucking. I'm not going to say who it was because I don't want to do shit like that. But someone uh told me that like something traumatizing and bad happened to him. Right. A bunch of guys like roughed him up. Um, like. Like they had like they didn't have weapons, but they had like a fucking they fucked him up and they like broke his arm and shit. Like they caused him physical grievous harm. Um, and I remember hearing him tell the story a few times to a few different people. And in the back of my mind, I was always kind of like, well, what did you do to elicit such a reaction out of said people? Because it was always like they did this to me and all, and it's kind of like, well, why? You know, and it's like if somebody like comes to my home and tries to attack me physically because they're so offended by my stream, I will laugh my head off. But then some other people, like there's other people in the world, like the guy I'm on about, who use that as a way to play the victim, and you can generally tell that it's like you did something you shouldn't have done, and you paid for it. You know, like that's how I see life. Like, do you know what I mean? It's like no matter what happens to you, even if it's like so out of left field, and you get left feeling like, why God? Why God? Like, why did that happen to me? Why me? Like, I didn't deserve that at all. Like, you're right, you didn't deserve it. It's not about deserving it. Like, it's about like, what are you gonna do about it? You gonna be a bitch about it? Like, are you gonna be like a really cool person about it? It's not about being a legend or a Chad or a fucking like a Warbarrow with a €10. Much appreciation for the stream and chatu. You're welcome. Domo arigato for your financial aidu. What was I saying? If I can't remember what I was saying, I'm just going to do sea shanties. What was I saying? Uh, Maybe chat will remind me. Tom Cruise sucked. Oh, it was Tom Cruise in Vanilla Sky. I was like, was it Tom Cruise or was it fucking what's that other guy's name? Ashton Kutcher. I was like, is Ashton Kutcher in there or is it Tom Cruise? It's Tom Cruise with like medium length hair, isn't it? It's Mission Impossible 2 Tom Cruise. Do you remember when Mission Impossible 2 came out and Tom Cruise had the like, I'm cool and sexy because I've like kind of long hair. Like it was his leather jacket wearing face. Like it is so fucking funny. Oh fuck. Not advisable, however. Oh yeah, no, I already read that one. Like the White Claw days, but the Irish version. It kind of was like it's funny. Like I've had at least 5 things happen to me since I started doing Painting Goo. Whatever about like streaming it every day on YouTube. Like just used to do Painting Goo on Instagram, on my phone, on mobile data once a week, just for like 30 of us in this bear group or whatever, like. And it was a good bit of a laugh back then, like. And the fucking paintings were so bad. Like, don't make me get the old Painting Goos out again. Like, I like they're fucking hilarious, like, But it's like so many things have happened. Like, fuck it. Like, I've had people like, you know, I'm pretty sure people have like mass flagged the stream and all, because of like the Jort Wars shit, and because I was like a member of the Irish Bear thing and all, and the Jort Wars went down, and a lot of the Irish Bears were like, "Hey, I'm a Christian." Like, fuck off. Like, it was sad to see, like, do you know what I mean? But it is. It's very typical of a lot of Irish people these days. Like, I mean, the fucking no bollocks. Like, and that's what it is. Like, it's two-faced cunts with no balls. That's all. Like, that's what it boils down to. I don't try to get into the psychology of it and like uh, oh, it tends to be Christians or it tends to be homesteaders or it's like some of these Christians or homesteaders can be fucking a bit mad because like that's kind of how you have to be sometimes if you're going to survive this Babylonian realm. It's like you have to be a bit dogmatic or something. It's like no, like I genuinely people that like I genuinely think that people like the way this all works is like it does not fucking matter your color or your creed or your like there's bound to be a Pajit who's cool to be around. Do you know what I mean? Just because Pajit Week is very accurate and hilarious doesn't mean that every Pajit is like scum of the earth and shouldn't be touched. Like there's probably a load of them that are very self-aware, wonderful human beings. Do you know what I mean? Like, and they know that shit eating is wrong. like, like there's probably a few fucking porn stars that like if you hung around with them for a fucking day, you'd be like, do you know what? He may be a porn star, but like he's all right. Like it's that's how life is. Like like that's what like I've always wanted to meet interesting people, and what I find interesting about people is genuine life like shit, genuine life stories. I think that's what people like about me. Is like I'd be like, I did this and this happened to me when I was a kid. This and do you ever get this feeling and blah blah. And that's how you relate to people. It's like I have felt like this. This has happened in my life. I did this. I chose this and blah blah blah. I learned this thing about this, scenario and so on and so forth. Like I'm so fucking blessed that I had like a early life experience that was like lying is wrong, like it like shook it into my very being that like the destruction, the level of destruction that a single lie in a given situation can wreak havoc on a whole like paradigm era even. But like most people these days are just so fucking compartmentalized into like what do you think about this issue or like I'm a proponent of this or I identify as a feminist or I identify as a pan sapien fucktard. Like it's just it's so weirdly down in the weeds and particles of dust and smoke in the air at the same time. It's like minute details about meaningless shit. That's what I see a lot of it is, or if not most of it, is microscopic analyzation of meaningless crap. And I detest it. I utterly detest it. What I love is like learning real shit. Like when I put paint onto a piece of paper or a canvas and slowly build an image out of just liquid color. Do you know what I mean? It's like fascinating. I'm addicted to it. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, which is probably a good thing. But like, all these people that don't get me wrong, I like have all the admiration and like love and like appreciation for people who like work in little. Thank you. You stock shelves so I can go in and buy groceries. That's the way the world currently works. Do I think the world should work like that? Not necessarily. You know, um, like would I do that job? No. Does it mean that I think I'm better than you? No. It's just like make different choices and shit. Like it's like I was a warehouse worker. I was content moving boxes. Do you know what I mean? But it's like when your environment and your situation put you in a position where your core beliefs, your morality, like your spirit, your soul, I had the option of like, okay, just keep being a warehouse jockey for, corporations that just don't give a fuck about you, and do it in a time where the world is increasingly going insane, and now tack on you all have to wear masks and be vaccinated. So I was like, I'm probably just going to get sacked because I'm the type of guy that like I knew what my experience was from walking into the local shop. A local shop where people knew me. That I'd lived in that place for decades. And COVID happened, and I walk into a shop and I'm treated like a fucking terrorist, like a fucking second class citizen, like I've the plague, like all this fucking, because people are retarded and scared, you know? So I was like, I'm obviously going to get the same treatment in a corporate building that leases me out contractually to warehouses to do, gen op work for them. Like, I'm obviously going to be told that I need to get vaccinated and for like insurance reasons and all these fucking things, and I need to wear a mask and blah blah. I'm going to have managers telling me to keep my mask above my nose and all this shit. And I was like, I've already put up with a lot of stuff that I find utterly abhorrent for like 10 years since I left school. Getting jobs, being fucked over by managers, being straight up lied to by, company managers, company owners, or whatever, like this, people who interview me. Um, and a lot of that is not like a lot of it, if not all of it, isn't personal. It's just part and parcel of the bureaucracy and the protocol of this modern day job market where you have all these people who just fucking straight up lie about everything on both sides. People who just lie through their fucking teeth on their CV, and then they get the lanyard and they're in the chair at the desk and they're like, "So what do we do?" like, I'm really happy to be earning 45 grand a year starting, but like, I have no idea what I'm doing. like, it's mind blowing to me how people do the 9 to 5 grind in a lot of situations these days. Because like there's that like really that really virus really virus there was a very viral video, a clip of this like 20-year-old young one in her car just losing her shit. She was just in floods of tears, losing her fucking shit, saying, I get up, I go to work, I come home, I go to sleep. I get up, I go to work, I come home, I go to sleep. I get up and I just do it all over again. I don't have a life. I don't know what's going on. I didn't like think this is what life was going to be like when you grew up and got a job. Like, how do I do this? How do I do that? I don't know. Like, and she's just like in floods of tears crying, and like, you got a whole generation of people in the West like that, at least in the West, like probably in other countries, in other regions as well. But like in the West, it really is like that. We have a whole generation of people that are just like lost, just lost sheep, you know? And like, that's why you have all these things like, fucking like cults and corporations, businesses, and like science and all this shit. Like, people cling to them so hard because like they don't know any better, you know? And like, that's kind of why I have like pity and like a bit of like, I do have empathy for people who, are good. I have empathy for people who are good. I tend not to have any empathy, if like very little empathy, for people who behave badly, you know? I have that part of me that's like, you must be punished. I'm very Muslim. like, I think I'd be, apart from the heat, I'd probably be right at home in the desert with wearing sandals and a fucking turban. I'm not even playing. Do you know what I mean? Like, my favorite sword would go from a katana to a scimitar real fucking quick. but like, there's such a lack of discipline and such a lack of faith and such a lack of like spiritual fortitude and like balls and all this stuff. And like, it's funny, I was listening to Owen earlier on, catching up on his streams over the last few days. And one of the things he said was like, I'm fucking what did he say? He was like talking about like how he's like, vulgar, like how he's like from that kind of class and he's like a comedian and shit, like, and it's him who took the moral high ground. And like that is a hilarious thing to like to look at realistically. It's like you're talking about a guy who grew up the way he grew up, does the kind of comedy he does, and has been around those kind of people and made that kind of money and been in those environments and all. Like, and he made a stand morally. Do you know what I mean? So, like, imagine what the other people are like. Like, imagine what the other people are like. It's not like Owen is this like fucking, you know, beacon of like moral fortitude or some shit. Like, you know, like there's like your average Muslim dude with four kids and a job and shit. It's like way more fucking spiritually disciplined than probably anybody in this community, including Owen. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, they're like hardcore. You know, whip a carpet out 5 times a day and like boom, 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 like washing your face before every time you do it. Shit. Like most of us are like very normal. You know, it's not our fault individually or well, like, collectively, yes, but it's like it's not our fault that so many people chose to go so low. You know, but that's kind of what makes it funny. Is like people like me interacting with other people who are like, oh man, like you know, you're such a good guy, and like I'm trying to be more like you, and you know, fucking do the right thing, and make something and do some shit and all. And I'm sitting here being like, you think I have my shit? Like, shit, look at this. Like, like if this is a ship, like I'm fucking flying around every day for at least an hour, slapping duct tape, and fucking like I am barely keeping this thing afloat, but it's not the point. Like the point is like why and how I'm keeping it like what purpose am I keeping it afloat for? Do you know what I mean? It's like I'm content. I'm content with my little dinghy with holes in it. You know, it's not gonna sink. You know, like if somebody got in it with me, they'd be like, "Oh my god, we're gonna sink," and I'd be like, "It's fine. I just do this." You know. Like, and I just plug a hole in my finger. But like, what are you gonna do? You can't do anything. You can't just keep your finger there all the time. Yeah, it's fine. I just do this. I just put a towel in it or something, like, and then go do something else. Like I've a leak in the kitchen downstairs. I barely have enough money to pay the fucking internet to do this shit, you know. But like I do, but barely. It's so funny, like you know, like I do, like there's so many like micro similarities between what Owen has done and is going through and what I'm trying to do and have been through. Like there's shit he's gone through now that I experienced years ago. Like that deep sense of betrayal. Do you know what I mean? I got that real young. like, like I got that real young. That like that deep sense of like just biblical level of betrayal. Like it fills your heart with hatred, and it's not worth it. Like, do you know what I mean? But it can be useful temporarily. It's a great motivator. Like it's okay. Like being betrayed, like real bad, is a brilliant motivator. Like, oh fuck. The Vox BB dynamic is hilarious when you see it. Oh, I fucking love it. I wish they did more streams together. I swear to God, like, do you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of my dad and me. I swear to God, my dad's very like Vox. Do you know, like very intellectual, uh, well read. You know, big into computers. Like all sorts of similarities. Like, you know, very technically minded, very strategic. You know, he's a Sagittarius, the bowman. You know, like very strategic, very tactful, patient, disciplined. Um, like a lot of things you could say that are very positive, like you know, but like an asshole, like and a coward morally. like a bit of a bitch. So in those ways, he's probably totally different from Vox. I don't think the type of person my father is could handle the type of responsibilities that someone like Vox has, or the type of social interactions. Like, do you know, what I mean? Like my dad's kind of a recluse, doesn't have a lot of friends, um, isn't good in a crowd. You know, my dad doesn't like groups of people. You know, for rational reasons. You know, there's a part of me that's kind of like that. When I'm around a large group of people, I like I'll keep the female a bit closer to me, you know, so I know where she is. Like, I become more like, I think you should be like that. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, obviously, if you're at like a fucking bear festival where you know everybody and all that shit, you shouldn't be like that. But like, if you're just in like a random festival and everybody's a stranger and shit, like, I get real like, you know, personal space awareness and shit, like, and my peripherals get real active, and I was like, what's he doing over there? And like, what's fucking like, I get, it's not paranoia, it's vigilance. Do you know what I mean? I become insanely vigilant because I know shit can kick off. I know people. Do you know what I mean? Like, I know what people are like, you know, especially in crowds and groups. Like a group of humans is not the same thing as, you know, a couple of humans or an individual human. Like a group of humans is its own thing, and they're fucking psychotic. They can be like manipulated in mad ways, like, do you know what I mean? Like, which is evidenced by the situation we're in. Um, I'm writing a Star Trek fan fiction novel right now. We'll share with you lot. What's fuck off? You're writing a Star Trek fan fiction? I want to read that. What's it about? Give me like a little like blurb about it. But you know, if I was gonna do that, I'd write one about like it would all pretty much all be about the Borg. I find the Borg fascinating. I'd love to do one about like a group of Borg that like go through something similar as like Seven of Nine, where they like somehow get deactivated from the hive and they start to remember who they are originally. So like you get a kind of like ragtag Guardians of the Galaxy esque group of people who are former Borg, but not like Picard is former Borg. He got like turned and then like, you know, brought back and has no scars or anything, like just has like memories and stuff. I'm talking like they still have a lot of shit on them, but now they're conscious again. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, I think that'd be really cool. We have like a group of rogue Borg trying to bring down the Borg. Like, it would be fucking deadly. Like, it's there is an endless amount of really rich, excellently written, awesome fucking lore in Star Trek. The Klingons are fucking hilarious. They're basically space Japs. The Borg are fucking terrifying for all sorts of reasons. Just this like artificial intelligence that assimilates organisms. It's like that hive mind kind of thing. Like, we are the Borg. Resistance is futile. We will assimilate your species properties into our own. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, it's such a creepy fucking, like, when you hear all the voices, we are the Borg. Resistance is futile. Like, it's so cool. Like, they don't do shit like that anymore. Like, do you know what I mean? They don't, horror movies don't genuinely shit you up. Comedy's fucking basically gone from the mainstream, you know, for the most part. There's still a little bit there. Um, all the mainstream just sucks now. All the mainstream is just so dead and synthetic and fake and safe in so many ways. Like, you know, like I'm not fucking saying that we should be making snuff movies. Like, you know what I mean? But it's like, you know, that kind of safe where it's like, oh, don't offend anyone and like make sure there's a black person in it. Like, it's like, no, you should just be able to make a movie about pretty much anything and like it just be a good movie about that thing. There shouldn't be all these criteria of like, well, it has to tick these boxes and, you know, progressivism and all that shit. It's like, just ruined everything. Like, you know, like the original Thing movie where like all the fucking animatronics and the fucking latex models and fucking shit that like made up the monsters and stuff. Like, you watch that now and Sure, like a lot of the parts you kind of look at it, it's like, that's hilarious looking, it's so fake looking. But then some of it, you're like, oh my God. Like, and like, that's what I want out of a horror movie. Like, it's supposed to be horrifying, like, you know? But like, the horror movies these days are just like, they're hard, they're disturbing. That's what it is. I've noticed that in the last 10 to 15 years, horror movies in particular aren't horror movies. They're disturbing fetish films, whether it be gore porn or like weird torture porn or fucking just like they go in like that. What was that fucking movie? Midsummer. That movie Midsummer. Don't fucking watch Midsummer. Just stay away from it. Like that's a fucked up movie. Like and like it's not even good. Like shit, like it's one of those movies that you're like you're just caught in it and you're like this is crazy. And then by the end of it, you're like, I never want to watch that again. Like, in the worst way possible. Like, there's images that I'll never get out of my fucking mind. Like, it's just so bad. Like, it's just so fucking bad. Like, and you can tell that it's like, it's kind of propaganda-y as well. It's trying to make you think that, like, oh, all these, like, don't get me wrong. Yeah, a lot of the pagan shit is like, just as bad as all these like fucking voodoo tribe fucking shit. There is a reason why things had to become civilized, They were uncivilized. Like large swaths of humanity basically acted like animals. So when people who didn't act like animals showed up, they were kind of like, these people act like animals. Like, we need a word for it. Savage. Like, is savage. It's like, and then, yeah, don't get me wrong, it was probably overused, like, and the meaning changed and warped and shit to around like the Americans invading the Indians and shit and be like, oh, these savages have no place here and stuff. Like, there's two sides to every coin, like, do you know what I mean? It's like, some people are savages and some people are nobles. And it's like the savages being savage is a bad thing. But like that doesn't mean that everything about that kind of culture and that kind of way of living is a bad thing. Like there's many medicines, many forms of uh fighting, many forms of like physical fitness, many forms of like dietary for like dietary uh plans, if you like, like certain kind of diet, like not knowledge of a diet and herbal knowledge and shit like that. Like, you know what I mean? It's like there's so much to be learned from each culture and each race when you like cross reference data, you know? It was like, well, our ancient textbooks say this, this, and this. And it was like, oh, well, our ancient textbooks say something similar. Like, what do you know? All of our ancient textbooks seem to have a story about a flood. Like, there's a reason we're all infighting, and it's not because we hate each other. The reason we're all infighting is because there's a group of pricks running around lying about everyone, you know? Oh, the Russians said this about you guys. Like, like fucking, it's all the same. It's like that shit you grew up with, all the drama and the gossip and the people talking about each other behind each other's back, and like those kids that were like really greedy and selfish and like their parents spoiled them and stuff. Those people grew up and are now in charge of nations. Welcome to the real world. Like, it's like that's what you're dealing with. Yes, there's a spiritual level. Yes, there's a meta oogity boogity. You can't see it, like you can only feel it and shit. Like, yes, that's there, but you're here now dealing with this, and what this is just some people suck, and because some people suck, some of the aspects of life suck. Now, we live in a time where people who suck have managed to create systems that are so widespread and vast and like intricate and shit. And because people are dependent on them and rely on them for basic resources like food and water and shit, we find ourselves in a situation where we've basically collectively enslaved ourselves to a bunch of wankers because we like instant noodles. You know? That's basically the situation we find ourselves in. Like, and when you look at it that way, it's not that bad. It could be a lot worse. There's a lot of hope. Like, I think, I mean, look what happened with COVID. Like, everybody was like, oh God, what's going on? Like, I guarantee you the next couple of things that happen in the next 10 to 15 years are probably going to be in at the time, like, you know, whatever disease X is, or if it happens, or any of these fucking rumors going around. Just stay calm. Just play it cool. Just like the same way you know the sun is going to show up again, have faith that, like, it's only going to last so long. Like, look at the widespread panic and damage that COVID put everybody through. And the language they were using, like new normal and all this fucking shit. Trying to make it out like this was going to be our life for like the next few decades. Like, do you know what I mean? Because that's what they wanted. They wanted like it locked down. They wanted screens. They wanted fucking everything sterilized and white, you know, in a bad way. And like, they nearly got it. Not quite, but they nearly got it. And they're probably going to try again. Like, and they'll probably never stop trying. Like, but every time they try and fail, you have a large group of people who go, oh, that was bullshit. Oh, okay. And like the world changes. Do you know what I mean? It's like, I think Owen's right. I think they played their hand too hard and too fast and shit and too early. Like, you know, I think if they'd have been more patient and more like, you know, a bit more sinister and maniacal about things, like they probably could have done a lot more damage. But like, maybe maybe because I'm ignorant, I don't know that the next thing, like Bill Gates and all, is saying that the next one's going to be like, oh, the next one's going to get your attention. I wouldn't be surprised if like millions of people drop dead overnight. Swear to God, and that's not a fear porn thing. That's just me being. That's just me being realistic. That's just me speaking my mind. I would not be surprised if, for some fucking mad reason, half the fucking realm dies in 12 hours, and we're like just left standing there, being like, "Oh my God!" And like everybody knows someone who lost someone. Everybody has somebody that they lost because like half the population's just dead in a fucking fortnight or 12 hours or something like of something. I don't fucking know. Like, so what? It's just another thing. It's like that's how people would have felt at World War II. Shit blowing up everywhere. A lot of people didn't even know shit was blowing up. A lot of people were just farming, feeding their cows, carrying buckets of water and milk, doing the same shit they were doing the last fucking week. And then some dude showed up in a car with a letter and was like, have you heard? We've won the war. And like, what? What the fuck? What war? Like, you people are at war again? Why? Like, that's how this realm works. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, it could be happening. The end of the world could be happening right now, and we have no fucking idea. And there's some guy, like, some guy called Ben saving the world right now, and you'd have no fucking clue. And 70 years later, we all find out that a catastrophic event was narrowly avoided by some guy called Ben 75 years ago, and fuck all people know about it. But now it's blowing up all over the internet. Like, shit like that happens all the time. A game called Monster Hunter World came out in like 2016, and out of nowhere in the past couple of weeks, its regular player base has exploded by 400%. It's almost like unprecedented in gaming history for a game to come out and then years later, a load of people pick it up. Just doesn't happen. Well, now it happened. Shit happens, you know? And shit's gonna keep happening. I will neither confirm nor deny who I was talking about earlier. Don't be like that. They'll be like, "Are you talking about blah blah blah?" I specifically said I wasn't going to say the name. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, oh fuck! Just don't let your slave job define you. Yes, that's what. Like, I have so much respect for people like you and like other people I've known throughout my life. Like fucking Demon Hunter. Like, do you know, like, what do you do? Ah, clean buses. Just massive beard. Plays Grand Theft Auto on the weekend with his girlfriend. Like, do you know, like, just be real. Just be fucking real. Like, do you know what I mean? If I had a no, if I just got a job right now, I wouldn't be real. I would be living a false life. I would be stressed out of my mind. I would hate my life. I would like. I would be. It would feel like I would. I was at this stage. It would feel like I was giving like God or whatever the etheric realm, the universe. If I just gave up on this, if I gave up on all this now, like right now, after like fucking 3 years, if I gave up on this now, it would feel like I would be giving the middle finger to whatever it is because I can feel it. I can I still get days where I'm like, oh my god, I don't have any money. How am I gonna do this? What the fuck? Like there's a part of me that feels like I'm not a real man because I'm not making enough money to provide for my female. But the logistical probability of me being able to do this, like even if I had a job, she'd probably still earn more money than me if I had a real job. Like, because all I'd be doing is moving boxes. Like, it's just it's so funny to me how people just don't get it. Do you know what I mean? Like, your health is your wealth, not the fucking money you make. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, people aren't going to give a like you have people forgotten that you can be the richest cunt on the planet, but it doesn't matter if you're an asshole. Do you know what I mean? Like, people have known for a while. I thought that like you don't actually want to be Jeff Bezos or Steve Jobs or fucking like Bono out of U2. Like, do you know what I mean? Like you don't actually want that life because like when you realize the reality of these people's lives, it's like, yeah, sure, they're worth supposedly millions and like they have really nice clothes and drive around in really nice cars. And like, when you think about it, people like that are a lot of them, if not most of them, like, especially the ones that drive around in really nice cars and wear really nice fucking, designer shit all the time. They're babies. They're pampered babies. They're children that are paraded around for branding reasons. They're not real people. These are the type of people who don't know the price of milk. Do you know what I mean? Or bread. Like they don't even know how much shit costs in a shop because they never have to go shopping. People just bring them their cocaine on a tray. Never mind their fucking apples and oranges and bread. Like, like it's like I do think it's real funny that it's like I never thought I'd be the type of person to like explain shit to people. It's like, do you not see? Like, it's fuck. Like, because I had moments like that with my friends and my family around COVID and before COVID. Before COVID, I was already starting to go down some like rabbit holes and shit where my friends would be like, dude, come on. Like, and I'm like, what do you mean, dude, come on? Like, dude, come on. like, like I'd had moments like that where they're like looking at me being like, you're not one of them now, are you? And I'm like, I wasn't even talking about flat earth or the moon landing or any of that shit. All I was talking was about like uh the government's lying about some shit and I think like aliens are probably real in some capacity and fucking like, I think I think the demonic and I think the spiritual realm's real and all this stuff and I had my friends looking at me being like, nah, God's not real. Like, come on. Just like, what's wrong with you? Like, afterlife, all that shit. Fucking, don't be silly. Just shut up and play Halo. like, uh, I'm not defined. I'm not defined by my bus worker job. Exactly. Yeah. Um, I like what I do. The Brigittes could aim a bit better, but I'm not better. One day I'll be a blacksmith in the woods. But that's it. It's all about your attitude. It's all about your attitude, why you do things. Like like I do things to make people laugh. I do things to make me laugh. I look like I make myself laugh with the shit that I make, with the shit that I think. You know, I'll be having a shower and I'll make myself laugh. I'll be making a cup of tea and I'll make myself laugh. And I want to share that. I want to make other people laugh. I want to design things. I like designing things. You know, have you ever seen a troll that fat and stubby looking? I made him. Like, I like designing worlds and characters that people can like escape into and shit like that. And like, I'd love to design a card game or some shit. Like, you know, like I like entertaining people. I like long form conversation. Like, so I do what I like and I am what I like and I embody what I'm passionate about and all these things. Like, and it resonates with other people and that's valuable. Do you know what I mean? And like, I remember hearing for the first time, like, Owen explain that. And I was like, Jesus, yeah. I mean, like, I already knew that money wasn't value. Money is the representation of value. But I did have for a while, like a conflict of like, what is value then? Is value subjective? Like, you know, it's like, but things have inherent value, you know? And these streams and my art, even though it is just like pictures of things, does have inherent value. I inspire people. I entertain people which in itself is valuable because if it's good entertainment, you know, it's good for you. It's nourishing for the soul. For you to be here listening to me or uh, listening to Owen or listening to Tom Barnett or like, and I'm not comparing myself to like their level of whatever, like, you know, but it is similar. It's like people show up, hang out, get involved, whatever. Like, it's so much better than the majority of the shit that's out there. Don't get me wrong, there's still some decent shit out there that you can watch. Like, you know, I watch Asmongold play fucking video games, like, you know. And to be honest, watching Asmongold play video games and listening to some of the stuff he says, like, you know, like, that's another thing. The fact that a degenerate, like, World of Warcraft basement lord fucking, like, you know, doesn't even look after himself physically, gaming streamer seems to have more of a fucking head on his shoulders and a moral fortitude than half the fucking realm. Like, tells you a lot about the time we live in. Like, totally reminds me the end of the world British film from around 2015. Anyone remember that one? British film, the end of the world, 2015. You're not on about fucking 2012, are you? With fucking John Cusack, because that wasn't a British movie. It was a fucking shit movie, but it was an end of the world movie. I don't remember a British one in 2015 though. My Trek story is about a clone of the Transwarp Excelsior after the Citizen probe timeline. Why that sounds really familiar. The probe, Excelsior probe. Is that from the original Star Trek, the Excelsior probe? Because I've only recently watched, not all, but like I only recently started watching Star Trek, like the original Star Trek with James T. Kirk and fucking Spock and all. Hilarious. So fucking funny. Like one of the funniest things I've ever fucking witnessed is the original Star Trek with Kirk and Spock. It is so fucking funny. Like I just had it on in the background one day, and like, so bear in mind, I've never watched the original Star Trek, so I've never seen any of the I've seen snippets of like Kirk fighting the Gorn and shit or whatever, or the Tribble episode with all the furballs falling out of the vents. Like, you know, I've seen like famous clips. But I've never actually seen whole episodes, and I finally sat down and watched this shit. I have it on in the background. I think I was drawing or something in bed, like, and I look up, and it's just your man Sulu, the Chinese guy, and he's holding what's supposed to be an alien dog thing, right? It's supposed to be this like alien creature. He's just, it's just the episode just starts and it's like him on an alien planet, and you can tell it's just like a set, obviously, because it's like fucking fake as fuck looking. But he's just standing there holding this. It's just a dog in a costume. with like a lizard's tail and horns on the head. Like there's no like there's no way you can't not see that it's just a dog. Like, I think I might have the photo on my phone. I swear to fucking Christ, it's one of the funniest things that I've ever witnessed. It's the fact that they actually were like, so what? How are we gonna make a creature that's like alien looking, but like it'll move around and look real, and like the audience will be like, oh my god, like it's so fucking funny. Like it's so fucking funny. I don't even know where to look now. It's probably ages ago on my fucking phone. But it's like legit one of the funniest fucking things I've ever fucking witnessed was that like, I just look up and Sulu's just holding this dog. And it's like a little terrier or something. Like, it's like fucking, it's like Toto from fucking Wizard of Oz or something. And they just have it in this like lizard costume thing. It's so fucking funny. Oh my god! Please tell me I took a clip of it and like I'm pissing myself laughing in the clip and all. Like it's so good. Like oh, I can't remember if like I got my new phone in and around that time. I've lost so many videos and phones and shit. It's actually kind of depressing sometimes. Like there's so much data that's just like gone or like scattered in places that I don't know where it is, and I'll have to go find it and all this shit. I don't think it's here. I do that every so often. Like in the moment, if I think something's funny enough and all, like I'll just record it on my phone, and like it ends up being even funnier because the quality is so bad. Like, yeah, it's not here. Oh fuck, it's so funny. I might have sent it to like Demon Hunter Bear or something in a chat, or maybe Metal Bear or something. It's so fucking funny. Like I was crying laughing, like like I fucking like when the female came home, I like told her about it and all, like that kind of funny where you're just like, oh wait, let's show you this, like like to everyone for the rest of the day. Oh, try and find it later or some shit. So fucking funny. Like the dog's face is like sticking out of the costume and all. Like you can clearly see it's a dog. So good. Right. We'll do the phrase of the day and then sea shanty for a bit, and then I'm gonna call it. I'm back. Any painting done since I've been gone? I don't know. When did you drop out? I might have done the fairy wings a little bit more, but no, for about 20 minutes now. I've been like probably more than 20 minutes. I've just been sitting here talking. Uh, Everyone should see it. Horror and hilarity at the same time. The End of the World from 2015. I'll look it up, see if I can get it. Um, I'll never forgive the medical cartel for killing my nana. Oh man, like I didn't actually have like a close, loving relationship with my mother's mother, my grandmother on my mother's side. But even despite really not liking each, like she said she loved me or whatever, like fucking, I genuinely didn't like the woman, didn't get along with her. But even despite that, seeing how she was treated and what she went through after being diagnosed with lung cancer and what they did to her and how they healed her, how they tried to um what's the word they use? Treat her. Oh, they fucking treated her. They treated her to a slow, horrifying, long, like isolated, horrifying death. Like in the space of months, all of her hair was gone. She's like got swollen legs and shit. Mad. Like there's just like mad shit going on with her. You could tell that like cancer doesn't do that to you. I don't care what kind of cancer you got. Cancer like just kills you, you know. you just feel like shit. You probably look a bit like shit, and then it just kills you. But like the stuff they allegedly, uh, well, not alleged, the stuff they use that allegedly cures or treats cancer. That's the stuff that fucks you up. Like fucks you up. And the only way you're going to survive like the cancer and the treatment is if like you're strong enough to survive the treatment, you know? And even then the cancer can come back and shit. It's like it's such bullshit, like such fucking bullshit. I was horrified by some of the things I seen and some of the things I heard. Some of the ways that like nurses behaved and shit. I think I've told the story on the stream before or like there was just this one nurse in particular that was like fucking freaking me out, man. Like this older woman who was like far too comfortable with what was going on. You know, like I don't care if you're a nurse. There just seemed to be no like she seems psychotic. There seemed to be no emotion in her body language or in her voice at all, and it was just pure protocol. Such a weird thing to experience. And like, despite like, I wouldn't wish that shit on my worst enemy. Like I didn't like that woman. Like I didn't hate her, or like have any real disdain for her. Like we just didn't get along. But I just felt so bad for her. And like, I remember walking in. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I've told this before. But she looked me dead in the eye, um, and she was like, "Alex, you know I love you." And I was like, "I love you too, Elsie." And it was one of the craziest moments in my life because I knew the only reason she was saying that to me is because she knew how shit our relationship was. And I was like her first grandchild, you know? Um, like my relationship with my grandmother on my father's side, she was like my second mother. Like I loved that woman. I still get upset when I think about the fact that she's gone and granddad. Um, But Elsie, like, I didn't have a connection with her, so I just don't feel anything. And I'm not going to lie about that. I'm not going to be like, oh, I miss her so much. Whatever. But fuck me, like, I felt pain and sadness because I was like, I don't even like you. And man, you don't deserve this shit. Do you know what I mean? Like, we don't get along. I think you're a gobshite, like, in so many ways, but like, fuck, like, you just standing there looking at her filled with such fear. Like she was terrified, you know? And that really got to me. I was like, you could tell she wasn't ready to die. She didn't want to die. Um, which, like, can you fucking blame her? Like, you get diagnosed with lung cancer out of nowhere, and then 6 months later, like, you're fucking basically dead. Like, it's crazy. Absolutely crazy. Like, and for me, it was like a blatant example of how, like, stay the fuck away from hospitals. Do you know what I mean? Unless I agree with Owen on this. Unless you break an arm or like if it's trauma, if it's physical trauma, sure, you know. Um, loads of people walking around with fucking titanium pins in their skull and their legs and all this shit, like whatever, like Um, but the chemical shit and the pharmaceuticals, all the cancer stuff, stay the fuck away from it. Fucking horror show. Um, The World's End. Simon. Oh, the fucking pub crawl movie. The world. Yeah. Yeah. I like that movie. It's not as good as Hot Fuzz or what's the other one? Oh, Hot Fuzz. Shaun of the Dead. Shaun of the Dead and Hot Fuzz are two of the funniest fucking movies ever made, and they're really fucking good movies. The World's End's okay. It's all right, like. But Shaun of the Dead and Hot Fuzz are legit two of my favorite movies of all time. Uh, Yeah, it's a good movie. I don't remember much about it. There's like a magical sword or some shit. I don't know. Like, but it's a pub crawl. It's a movie about like they did 12 pubs of Christmas, but during an apocalypse. Like it's okay from what I remember. I might watch it again and like it more, like or something. Defender Bear and his lady will like it. Yeah, I'd say she'd enjoy that. All right, yeah. Uh, Takes place after Star Trek 4. Which one's 4? Which one's Star Trek 4? Star Trek, Star Trek, Search for Spock. What was the other one? Star Trek, The Wrath of Khan, Star Trek, The Search for Spock, then Star Trek Generations, wasn't it? Or Force, Star Trek Force Contact, then Star Trek Insurrection? Was Insurrection after First Contact? I can't remember. Insurrection got a really bad rap. Or was it Insurrection? Nemesis. Star Trek Insurrection. Star Trek Nemesis. Star Trek Nemesis got a bad rap. Insurrection was okay from what I remember. Those dudes with the fucking facelift machines are fucking mad. Like, um, please tell you have seen the Wrath. Oh yeah, like buried alive, buried alive, buried alive. That's like that's like one of the best moments in cinema. It's just like, and now you're here, buried alive, buried alive, buried alive. I, it's so good. It's like it's funny, but it's like you can feel the commitment in the actors and shit. Like and like if you're following the storyline, that scene is like, oh, you prick! Like they're in a bad situation now. Like it's so good. Like, like, and that's why loads of people have taken the piss out of it over the years. Like, so it's fucking amazing. Like Han Minion Singh or whatever his fucking name is. Like he was brilliant. The actor they got to play Khan was fucking brilliant. I am Khan, just Khan. Like chap always with his chest out. Like, do you know what I mean? My people, we are better. Like this is just fucking brilliant. The voyage home. All right, yeah, forgot about that one. Yeah, is it the one with the whales? Like, didn't things get like really fucking like, here, what the fuck? The crystals are gone, Captain. We need a whale. Like, I can't remember. Like, I'm probably so wrong. I just remember whales being involved in one of them. Oh, it's fucking funny. Anyway, um, Ricardo Montalban, is that the guy who played Khan? What a fucking actor, man. Chap's a fucking beast. Like, buried alive. Like, he's one of Ricardo Montalban and Christoph Waltz are legit some of the best actors I've ever seen, and I've seen like fuck all of them. I've seen them in like 3 roles or some shit. Like, do you know what I mean? And like Christopher Lee is like Saruman. Like, there's some actors throughout like all film history that just managed to bring theater acting to the screen. Like Patrick Stewart. Like Patrick Stewart was really fucking good as Picard. I didn't watch any of the new shit. Like the series Picard, or like there was a series called Picard, wasn't there? I didn't watch any of the new stuff. He got a lot gayer in his later days, you know? This is like creepy. But whatever. Right. Where's the phrase of the day? Today's PEINTEINGU phrase of the day is Foyo wa sandaru o haku. Jikare waraya aremasan. Which means winter is no time for sandals. So, once again, today's phrase, Foyo wa sandaru o haku jideke wa aremasan. Winter is no time for sandals. Of course it's not. Wearing sandals in winter time is foolish. One will lose his tolls shit quick. Right. Some sea shanties. I'm there fucking getting it up on my phone. Hold on a minute. Sea shanties, sea shanties, sea shanties. Oh yeah. Nothing like a Kool-Aid level of a burp. Okay. Uh, history. It should be in my watched videos because I didn't add it to my playlists. There we go. Fuck you. Fuck whatever you're selling, and fuck that cat. The cat can go fuck itself too. I don't care if the cat is white. It still can go fuck itself.
Get up to 25%
Oh my
off
god,
a
two
free
of them!
retail voucher
Two
with
fucking
car
ads!
insurance at libertyinsurance.ie.
You hate me! Right, okay. I'm gonna have to skip the second one because that's the one about Sally Brown. And I refuse to sing about a fucking whore. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't care how nice of a whore she was and how much you liked fucking her after your friends fucked her or before your friends fucked her too. It's a whore. You don't write a song or make statues about whores. It's not okay. Like, profound. Have you seen Firefly? I fucking love Firefly. And I love that actor. He's brilliant. Nathan Fillion is so good at that character. What's his name? Malcolm, Michael, Mickery. I can't fucking remember. Um, Firefly is brilliant. I love Firefly. It's really good. The movie Serenity was really good. Um, and it's kind of tragic. It's kind of tragic that Firefly didn't get like 12 seasons or something because like it should have. Like great universe. Like cowboys in space. It's like Western colonization in space, and like the space weaponry is still like ballistics, but it's like advanced ballistics and shit. Like there's like fuck all like lasers and stuff. It was really, really, really fucking cool, and it's gone. Well, it's not gone. It's still there. You still watch it, but like it's shit the way like it's so stupid like and shit the way like some of the like the really good stuff like fucking like take like a video game like Bloodborne or something like it's like Bloodborne is like one of the best games ever made, and only a small portion of the greater gaming community even know it exists, and the people who know it exists like fuck all of them have played it, and then even though people who have played it like half of them probably hate it because it's too difficult. Do you know what I mean? It's like a small minority of the gaming community, like myself, who like genuinely treasure games like that because they're true to form video games. Like it is a piece of art. It is visually, audibly, and interactively beautiful. In many ways, like, and it's just like so sad to see that like certain things don't get the like. Don't get me wrong, when Bloodborne came out it was everywhere because it was made by a games company who had already made a very famous games franchise, but like it came out, it made a hit, and it's gone. And like only the people who really appreciate it still appreciate it and shit. The world has moved on from Bloodborne. But like it's the same way with a lot of things. It's like the movie Gladiator, or the movie like the first 300 movie, or like Faulty Towers. They only made fucking 12 episodes of Faulty Towers. Like there's certain things. It's like that, that bit of a song where you wish they just played that bit of a song for like another minute. It's not like you want an hour-long loop. Like who listens to that shit? Fuck's sake, like drive fucking insane. Even if you love it, and stuff like that exists. This song for an hour, like fuck off. But there's certain parts of songs that you really like where you're like, oh man, I wish they just like did another like, loop of that at the end. Or in the middle, like I wish they like made it a little bit longer, like some songs are really good, but they're like too short. And some films and some franchises and stuff are like fucking amazing, but like there's only a few of them. And it's probably like it probably should be like that. It probably should be like that. We, the blessed and honored few, are breast. to to be aware that there's only a few of us and that there's only like so many true, good, beautiful things. It's probably not a bad thing, you know? Consider it an honor and move on. Yeah, like the Reavers and all. Like the fucking it's a really cool universe. Really fucking cool universe. I used to own Twok. What's Twok? Oh, the Wrath of Khan. You saw like yeah, my dad had it on VHS. Um, great movie. Kind of like it scared the shit out of me in a lot of ways as well when I was younger when I was watching it because like remember those little scorpion things that they put in their ears so they can like control their mind and shit. Like I was like, oh! Like, and again, the special effects in that scene are actually quite good because they like show a prosthetic ear with like this thing like crawling into it and shit. It was horrible. Great shit. Right, we'll do some sea shanties, and I'll give that bitch some hair, and I'll give Luigi an outline, and we'll call it a day. That's what we'll do. Yo ho, and a bottle of rum. Right, this one's. All right. Wind is in our sails, we'll be all right. Be sure to sing along. Chariot along, we'll roll the old chariot along. It'll be all right. This guy's got some voice on him. And the old chariot along.
Well, a night on the town wouldn't do us any harm. Oh, a night on the town wouldn't do us any harm. Oh, a night on the town wouldn't do us any harm.
One bitch.
And we'll all hang on behind. And we'll
roll the old chariot along. Roll the old chariot along.
Well, another festival wouldn't do us any harm. Oh, another festival wouldn't do us any harm. Oh, another festival wouldn't do us any harm. And we'll all hang on behind. And we'll roll the old. We'll roll the old. We'll roll the old chariot along. And we'll all hang on behind. And we'll roll the old. We'll roll the old. We'll roll the old chariot along. And we'll all hang on behind.
Fuck you, StreamYard. I no longer like you, StreamYard. I don't use you anymore. Sally can go fuck herself. I'll tell you that much. Is this the one? Yeah. Play, you fuck. Oh, there's Roar Jack. I love this one. I fucking love this one. Roar Jack. Safe as Sword Jack.
Don't forget your old shipmate. Folly, rolly, 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 ride-o. Since we sailed from Plymouth Sound, 4 years gone or nigh, Jack, was there ever chummies now, such as you and I, Jack? Long we've tossed on the rolling main. Now we're
Safe ashore, Jack.
Don't forget your old shipmate. Folly, rolly, 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 ride-o. We have worked the self-same gun, quarter-deck division, sponger I and loader you through the...
Wanna know all these off by heart, lads?
Long we've tossed on the rolling main.
Now we're safe ashore, Jack.
Don't forget your old shipmate. Folly, rolly, 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 ride-o.
We should do PEINTEINGU versions.
Oftentimes have we laid out, toil no danger
Oh.
fearing, tugging out the flapping sail to the weather rearing. Long we've tossed on the rolling main. Now
PEINTEINGU.
don't forget your old shipmate. Folly, rolly, 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 ride-o. When the middle watch was on and the time went slow, boy, who could choose a rousing stave? Who like Jack or Joe, boy? Long we've tossed on the rolling main. Now
We're safe ashore, Jack.
Don't forget your
Old shipmates.
rolly, 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 rolly,
Ride-o.
There she swings an empty oak, not a soul below now. Number 7, starboard mess.
Still need to do the white on that cap.
And Joe now. Long we've tossed on the rolling main. Now we're safe ashore, Jack. Don't forget your old shipmate. Folly, rolly, 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 ride-o. But the best of friends must part. Fair old foul the weather.
Shanty you.
And you flip her for a shake. Now we drink together. Long we've tossed on the rolling main. Now
we're safe ashore, Jack.
Don't forget
Your old shipmates.
Rolly, 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 ride-o. Long we've tossed on the rolling main. Now we're safe ashore, Jack. Don't forget your
Old shipmates.
Rolly, 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 rolly,
Ride-o. Right, what's the next one?
The smartest clipper you can find is Ho-way, ho-wa, you most done. She's the
Eliza Lee. Is this about a fucking hooker as well, is it?
the bullgine run to me, hey, ring a jig and a hunting gun. Ho-way, ho-wa, you most done. With Liza Lee all on my knee. Clear away the track and let the bullgine run. Our outward bound for the West Green Pier. Ho-way, ho-wa, you most done. With Galway Shale and Liverpool beer. Clear away the track and let the bullgine run to me, hey, ring a jig and a hunting gun. Ho-way, ho-wa, you most done. With Liza Lee all on my knee. Clear away the track and let the bullgine run. And when we're over in New York town, ho-way, ho-wa, you most done. We'll dance them Bowery girls around. Clear away the track and let the bullgine run to me, hey, ring a jig and a hunting gun. Ho-way, ho-wa, you most done. With Liza Lee all on my knee. Clear away the track and let the bullgine run. On the Margaret Heavens of the Blue Star Line. Ho-way, ho-wa, you most done. She's never a day behind her time. Clear away the track and let the bullgine run to me, hey, rig a jig
It's
and a
catchy.
hunting gun. Ho-way, ho-wa, you most done. With Liza Lee all on my knee. Clear away the track and let the bullgine run. Ah, when we're back in Liverpool town. Ho-way, ho-wa, you most done. I'll stand yours whiskies all around. Clear away the track and let the bullgine run to me, hey, rig a jig and a hunting gun. Ho-way, ho-wa, you most done. With Liza Lee all on my knee. Clear away the track and let the bullgine run to me, hey, rig a jig and a hunting gun. Ho-way, ho-wa, you most done. With Liza Lee all on my knee. Clear away the track and let the bullgine run.
It's catchy one.
We've always been good at
Who the
beginnings.
fuck is Eliza
And
though?
beginnings are about questions.
I am beginning to question my patience for you people.
Questions for half a
Fucking peasants.
Oh, the work was hard and the wages low. Leave her, Johnny, leave her. I guess it's time for us to go. And it's time for us to leave her. Leave her, Johnny, leave her. Oh, leave her, Johnny, leave her. Oh, the voyage is done and the winds don't blow, and it's time for us to leave.
Beautiful head of Super Saiyan hair for that Farpie there.
I heard the old man say, leave her, Johnny, leave her. Oh, tomorrow you will get your pay, and it's time for us to leave her. Leave her, Johnny, leave her. Oh, leave her, Johnny, leave her. Oh, the voyage is done and the winds don't blow, and it's time for us to leave her. The winds blew foul and the seas run high. Leave her, Johnny, leave her. We shipped 'em green and none went by, and it's time for us to leave her. Leave her, Johnny, leave her. Oh, leave her, Johnny, leave her. Oh, the voyage is done and the winds don't blow, and it's time for us to leave her. The mate was a bucko and the old man a Turk. Leave her, Johnny,
Oh, God, I'm not happy.
and the bosun was a beggar with a middle name of work, and it's time for us to leave her. Leave her, Johnny, leave her. Oh, leave her, Johnny, leave her. Oh, the voyage is done and the winds don't blow, and it's time for us to leave her. The old man swears and the mate swears too. Leave her, Johnny, leave her. The crew all swear, and so would you, and it's time for us to leave her. Leave her,
Johnny, leave her.
Oh,
Leave her, Johnny, leave her.
oh, the voice.
Well, if Johnny leaves her or not, I'm leaving her there. That's where I'm leaving it. Done enough painting, goo, and entertaining you for this evening. I have other shit to do, as I'm sure you do too. So, let us, let us leave with some bass. I always like to leave the stream with a little bit of oomph. I don't want to just drown out with me saying goodbye. So, where's my purple 80s tunes? Doodle-doodle-doodle-doo. So, I remember to do today's phrase for like third time in a row. I think that's going well. Soon we shall have Griffu on and test streaming and shantying while paintinging. In the meantime, I think today was a good one. If you think today was a good one too, if you happen to agree with my assessment of today's PEINTEINGU, then I suggest what you'll do is make sure to top up your honoroo and pay for PEINTEINGU. Link in description if you would like to pay for PEINTEINGU. If you would like to buy my merchandise, link also in description. So, I leave it there. Bears, bearettes, niggers, niggerettes, ladies and gentlemen. This has been PEINTEINGU. I have been Defenderu, and I hope you enjoyed it. Same time, same place. Tomorrow, 3 p.m. GMT. Same high-octane painting energy. And ranting. So, In the meantime, be good, be true, and be beautiful. And I shall see you tomorrow. God bless, and good night. I fucking love these tunes. Here come the wolves. Pay for PEINTEINGU. It's the honorable thing to do.